Hi. YouTube isn't live yet, but that's okay. Maybe it is. Oh, I think it is.
Yes,
Yay!
it is.
Hooray! Hi, everyone. Now, we have a cool show for you today. Hopefully, if everything has worked, we should be streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time. So who wants to be my guinea pig and go check twitch.com/Ranzee and see if it's actually streaming over there? Because apparently it is. Who's a Twitch person? And what I've also got set up too is I can actually pick up comments and messages that you throw at us through Twitch. So we can do that. So that's pretty cool. And also I thought before we sort of get into the nitty gritty of the show, I thought we'd start trying out these new sort of streaming platforms because I kind of think the revenue sharing on YouTube is starting to get a bit nasty. I think I mentioned that last week. So one of the things we can do now is, because I've got Streamlabs running, you guys can do your donations through streamlabs.com/Ranzee. The link is there. I'll post it in the chat in just a sec. The reason for it is they don't take 30% revenue share. They only take 3%, which is a hell of a lot better for our community and putting the money back into where it belongs. And I've got 2 people in Twitch telling me that it's working fine. So Man with Beard said it's working fine, Rance, and the breathalyzer says yay. So for those of you who prefer to use Twitch as opposed to YouTube, there she is, running like a dream. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Who have we got missing today? I think Ian's still missing, is he? I think he might be. Anyway, welcome to Synth Geekery, episode 267. We'll sort something out. Maybe we can do a 4-up, and we'll put who's missing.
Isn't there a live event today? Is he at an event?
Not sure. I don't follow everything.
Britannica was coming up. That's this weekend or not?
Yeah. So who is
Britannica? No,
that's you, and then that's Chris. There we go. Let's do that. Awesome. And we've got Pablo23 also joined us in Twitch. So he says hi, pal. So that's cool. So I'm just going to keep an eye. It's going to be hard for me. Like head's going to be, flipping around to different monitors today. We'll see how we go anyway. But yeah, let us know if everything's, if you guys are happy with this sort of shindig. I believe I can also stream on other platforms as well. There's a list. But let's not sort of get too much ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, according to Matt Brown, Britannica's this weekend, so he's probably tied up at Britannica.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, I'm seeing double of myself, so I must have taken too many.
Did I set you up wrong? Sorry, that's my mistake.
I was waiting for you to notice.
I made Daren disappear, and I shouldn't have. There you go. Sorry, Daren.
Magic tricks.
There we go.
You come.
I was just chilling out in the ether there, which is.
I was too busy looking at other things. I've got to set up. I've just moved my Stream Deck now across from my other computer, and it's had a lobotomy basically. It's just decided that it's going to drop all its settings because the settings are based on what you've plugged it into, of course. So I'm going to have to set that back up again. I don't actually use Stream Deck normally to do my vMix. I use the MIDI controller here, the APC Mini, but Streamlabs is basically an OBS fork. It's a commercial fork from OBS, and so far so good. I'm quite happy with everything that it's got. So we'll see how we go. Don't forget to everyone that you can join the show as a video guest, or as just an audio guest, because it does both, and that's for free via Zoom. That's the link there if you want to use it. Now, if you want to use it via the app, that's probably the best because you get more features and more control and setting up your camera and video mics and stuff like that. But you can't if you're not able to do it, you're not in your normal place of wherever you hang out, and you just want to do it on your phone or your laptop or whatever, you can just do it via your browser, and that should be fine as well. So that is the Zoom link. So that is also there, included for you guys to get yourself stuck into the show. I'm keeping an eye on Zoom as well, so we'll see how we go. Okay, and not last and not least, but that is the last link that I want to show you guys, and that is that we also run the outside of the show during the week on Discord. That seems to be the best place for us to chat. I feel like it's less ad heavy. Don't you reckon, Chris? It's kind of I don't know. Do you guys get a little bit sick of Facebook? I do. I think I feel Discord's kind of.
Well, I came into it later than you guys, and I found it confronting to begin with. So
Yeah.
with the ads that I
you,
did
mate.
have there, it's like "Ugh, what the hell? Why are people using this? It's horrible." Yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan. But
I mean, I'm not against ads. I understand that it makes the world go round. People need to make revenue. I guess that. I'm not against it completely, but I just kind of find when you're scrolling through Facebook now, it's almost a post or something that you want to read, and then the next thing's an ad or a sponsored or something. So it's basically 50% of the content is ads.
Or the post you just
really
looked
hard.
at when you scroll through is gone when you go back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been taken over by an
disappears.
ad.
yeah, and
Best thing
it's
about
hard to tell
Facebook is all the
difference.
Yahoo groups that migrated when they shut that down. All the synth groups for years moved over to Facebook. So that's the best thing about it.
Exactly.
Huge amount of
Yeah,
information.
it's-
Now, I don't know if this is going to work, so I'm going to try. So hopefully this button will work, because I do have Streamlabs running on this other computer, and that worked for vMix. So I'm just hoping it worked for. This is the tip page. So I've only just set it up. It's fresh. It's brand new. So all you have to do, if you do want to use Streamlabs to tip, is do it through here, and we'll pick it up through Streamlabs and post the information that's come through. So see how you go with that, people. That's awesome. I guess this is going to take time for us to get used to all these new changes. But if you think about it, a lot of the other people that are doing content now and have been doing this for a long time, I'm just probably a bit slow on the uptake, to be fair. I should have probably been using Twitch a long time ago. A lot of the YouTubers that I watch multi-stream. So, yeah. Anyway, so here we go. Okie dokies. Let's say g'day to everyone. We've got 3 video guests so far. No one in Zoom yet. So we'll start with Daren. Daren, how's your week been?
Well, if you've looked at Facebook, pretty packed. Well, I won't say packed, but I've just got the Inky mid rig up, and I'm giving it a shakedown and working out what I'm going to be playing in Derby in a few days. Is it a few days? So that's basically what I've been doing this week, because I won't have time to do it next week, so it's going to have to be completely on the fly. So it'll be packed away tomorrow, and then it won't open up again until the Derby on the 17th, and then God knows what's going to happen, because it's either not going to work and I have not clue what I'm going to play out of a 2-hour set. So it's going to be completely on the fly. I wouldn't say jam, but near enough. That's what
Awesome.
I've been doing all week.
Awesome. Keep talking for a sec, because I've just got to type some stuff into the chat.
All right. But that and last week I put up a video of just some hints of tracks that will be in more another live set that I'm working on slowly. So I'll have 4 live sets at about an hour and a half each, maybe 2 hours. So there's plenty of stuff that I can come up. So every time I play out now, it can be completely different, or I can mangle anything together. So it'll be interesting in more ways than one, because it'll either go down really bad or it'll be really good. So hopefully the rig will hold out as well. The weight issue on the rig is definitely not like Andy would be liking to take round to his E-mums when he walks through God knows what, because it weighs a damn ton. So it's going to be interesting. Setting up time, it shouldn't be too bad. I think it's just the initial the actual rig itself to set up the
Do you have a hand truck
all
or something you
gear
can
up.
cart it around with?
No, but I could probably end up doing with one the way it's going. It shouldn't be too bad. We'll find out. It'll be a massive disaster. Either that or the weight of the rig will just tip it up over sideways. So I'll have to keep my feet on the bass just to make sure it doesn't fall over, because it's weighted to the back of the rig more than anything else. But we'll see. It's shaking down okay, but that's not in a full live event, so who knows what's going to happen.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Thanks for extending your little hello. I just had to get a couple of links into chat because a few people were asking me for them, and also the Zoom link is in there. But we'll keep going with next in line is Andy. How's your week been?
Hey there. Not too much going on. I did a fun show yesterday with Henrik and a bunch of folks on death. Death of family, death of friends, death of pets, death of synths, and all kinds of other stuff. It ended up being, I think pretty funny overall. It wasn't supposed to be dark and creepy, but a little bit of Halloween stuff in there, and it was good. It's about 2-3 hours, between 2 and 3 hours, something like that. That was yesterday. That was fun. Right after PSN, he had to do it. He couldn't do it today, so he had to do it yesterday. A few days ago, I did a Astro stream. Thanks to all you guys who joined, so I could have the count to do a mobile stream. I did a test mobile stream with some gear and incorporated a computer a little bit just to talk about the comet that's around now. It's Comet C 2023 A3, I think it's called, because the guy's actual proper name is kind of hard to pronounce. So
rolls off the tongue.
That's
better.
Yeah, that's going around the sun right now. So by if you haven't looked for it yet, by early evening tonight for you guys, or much later for me, whatever it is, we'll be much further away from the sun now. So when the sun goes down, that will be above the horizon enough to see it if you have a good horizon. So start looking for the comet if you haven't. I'm gonna one night do a live stream with a comet. So that was part of the goal. But that's it for now, pretty much. Harbor Jam this weekend, usual stuff. So always happy to be here.
Fantastic. Got to work out how to get the information across from Twitch over to here. Just give me a sec. Because I just want to bring up something. One sec before I go to you, Chris. So Twitch is saying that it's on, but I'm not getting it through the feed. Okay, I definitely will have a few tiny little teething problems, as you probably can imagine. But anyway, I'll just do it verbally. I just wanted to mention that JP Page 2 in Twitch has donated $5, and his comment is, here's a small amount to help pay for the costs of running the channel. Thank you very much, buddy. And that's just come through, so that's instantaneous. Well done, mate, letting you know that it worked. And just so if you're wondering, my little watch popped up with the PayPal payment at the same time, so it's instantaneous. It's fantastic. All right, getting across to Chris, buddy. How's your week been?
Oh yeah, been pretty busy week for me. I hope everyone's well. My week in the business, or the makeshift modular anyway, I've been prepping boards for manufacturing, and then I sent boards off for manufacturing, and then I had to do bill of materials for the new PCBs, and then I had to order a crap ton of parts. So that's pretty much wiped out my whole week. It's a good week though, because it's exciting. Now boards are on their way to me, so that's how quick these prototypes can get done, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll be receiving some stuff next week, and we'll see where it goes from there, but excited. That's pretty much my week. Oh, and
wow,
I'm designing...
That's a quick one from you.
I'm working on the next module in the line, which is a mixer. That's all I'll say at this stage.
Fantastic. Awesome. Don't forget too, Chris, you're more than welcome to put some stuff at the other part of the show when we start getting into Saturday Sonority. You can have your own little segment if you want, mate.
I'll definitely take you up on that, Rant.
Yeah, I know you will. We can chat about it offline anyway. Fantastic. Sure. All right. We should say good day to the chatties. And this is just the YouTube chatties. I will work out a way how to get Twitch across. There is a feed thing that I can show you guys, I guess, which is pretty interesting, but we'll do the chatties first and then we'll do the Twitch thing second. All right, so big hello to the YouTube chatties coming through. And I thought I'd just a quick mention to the channel members, of course, Macrodose, Kent Spong, big hello to you, buddy, and to Sophie Music, and who else we got in there? Human Error, and I think 47 was the first person that I saw in the chat anyway. So 47, you can wear the yellow Guernsey as being number one coming in. Well done. Welcome to the show. Also, there's a few others, randomly just picking them out, like Kosh Dukai, nice to see you, mate. Man with Beard, of course, good to see you. The Wookiee's there. Paintopia is there. Matt Brown. Sean's there. Big hello to Paul Holmes. And Babs is there, of course. Who else? We've got... I saw someone disappear as I was scrolling, of course. Wagoo, big hello to you. Jack's there. Jack's also just popped into Twitch as well, I've noticed. And I don't know what the difference is in the streaming, whether it's delayed or not. It'd be interesting to know. Deadman Walking's there. DJ Norman, I think it is. Sorry, my eyesight is terrible today. I'm having a bad eyesight day. Don's there, and X101. Awesome. Let's head on over to, this is this little sort of activity feed thing that I can show you on Twitch, and it just shows you a couple of people that have popped into Twitch. So your name's up there. I'll work out a better way of showing you that, but you can see the breathalyzers there, which is Sean, Jack's there, Man with Beard, and Pablo23. Fantastic. Trying to run two platforms is a nightmare. Right. You can do it, Ranz. You can do it. Okay. Shall we do the normal show? Why not, says everyone. Hopefully buttons and everything's working, so it should just work. And it does.
Wow.
Well, every week we always have someone missing down the bottom, don't we? Let me fix this while we're doing that. But this is pretty, obvious why this one should be shown this week, because I mean, who thought this, right? Who thought this? The moment that we'll talk about this in news, but the moment that particular thing came out this week, who thought circuit? Surely it's not just me that thought circuit, right?
No, you're right, Rance. Exactly what I thought.
Circuit with an OLED display. Yeah.
Ableton style.
Yeah. Not so much OPZ. I mean, I don't know enough about OPZ. I know you do, Andy. But I kind of
it has some functionality OPZ, but it's
I kind of thought it was closer to circuit than this is the circuit that lets you put samples in, of course, not the older version of circuit. Okay, keep going. I don't play any of them often. Over a period of years, I've just brought them in from the kid next door.
Yes. Are they implying that modular is a young man's game?
I just think it's. I think this is cool because I can just see like.
I kind of yeah.
Here's the side. I've kind of got this here, right? I'm kind of these guys' age. All I have to do is get the cigars out, and I can just sort of don't even turn it on anymore. I can just invite people in and go, "Would you like to come and check out the modular grid there, boys?" I think it's pretty cool. Whoever did that meme's a genius. Next, Keith in Watford. I know you're probably floating around at some live show at the moment. But anyway, Dad, the only person who likes your doorless jams is under my bed. Who got that one?
Yes, I thought the mirror was a nice touch. I just
pretty subtle.
No one under there, but
pretty
it's
subtle.
fair enough. It's like, oh no, touche, you got me there.
Yeah, you got me. Pretty subtle, isn't that? Oof. Thanks, Sean, for dropping a link in the Golden Shrimp Guild. Beautiful. And I think this is the last one. It might not be. We'll try anyway. I definitely need another synth plugin, said me sarcastically during the week when obviously more synth plugins came out during the week. Discord, I think someone said I definitely need another screen. I thought it was quite a good answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need
Anyway,
more real estate.
we'll definitely be syncing our comments in about plugins this week. I definitely feel. Yep. Okay. So that was it for the memes. So, quick refresher for those who've forgotten already. I mean, I do because I've got a memory like a goldfish. First one was the Ableton Move. The next one was the old guy sitting next to the modular. Third one was Dad looking under the bed at himself in the mirror after his son just slayed him with that bad comment. And the fourth one is the one you're looking at. So let us know both in Twitch chat and in YouTube chat which one is your favorite, please. And I'll keep an eye on both. Another plugin, says Danielle. The Move Circuit, says Wagoo. Baby Circuit, yeah.
Yeah, the
Says
Moog
Matt.
circuit one's good.
Andy's popped into Twitch, by the way.
Yeah,
Everyone's-
just testing it out. I don't use it that much. But
Everyone's going Circuit, I think. Definitely. Yeah. All right. What do you boys think? Circuit? Daren?
I'm muted. I was modular. I think I'm good for the modular one.
You going for the old guy with the modular? Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one too. Yeah, I have to say that's my favourite as well. I think it resonates with us, Daren, in some bizarre way.
Well, probably more you because you've got the heck of a lot more modular now.
I've got the actual, the picturesque.
You've nicked a lot of stuff
yeah.
from the kids next door.
Well, you do not want to say that. If you actually knew.
uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Right.
Understand
The house
that,
next door is
yes.
empty, by the
Moving
way.
on.
Well, I think it
Well,
is.
you've got
No
all
one's.
modular in yours.
We've got this house next door to us, and I don't think anyone's been living in it for a few years now. But every now and then you see someone popping into the driveway and doing some maintenance on it. It's one of those. We live in one of those cities where there's a lot of people that are transient in where they actually originally come from. So they might have bought a house here because they had a job or they had kids going to
they might
school
be-
or something.
They might be working up north.
Yeah.
But wouldn't mind knowing what whether there's an astronomical power bill on that place. That might tell you what's going on.
Oh no, it's not. I've definitely checked that out because there's no weird glowing lights from any of the rooms.
A funny smell. Yeah.
They don't do renting or
check it out.
Airbnb or something like that? They just
No,
stays
it's
empty?
definitely not. No, it's definitely not. Yeah.
Wow.
He's checked it out because he's powering his modular from it.
I've hooked in.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Hooked into the three-phase
because I took it.
power next door. Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll go with the Ableton Move because I think it's topical this week. Speaking of news, we should probably get stuck into that. Yes, another one that I've got to fix up. This week, the first bit of news, I guess, is that, there's another raffle, and that raffle is run by the Bob Moog Foundation, I should say. And it's getting close, I guess, to the end. We're about a week in. So the 28th of October is when it finishes. If you do enter this raffle, I do have a link. This is not an affiliate link. I don't get paid or anything like that, but I do have a link that I'll post in the chat so you guys can go straight to it and get yourself a ticket. If you haven't got one already, that tickets I think are as low as $25, which I thought was pretty cheap. But this particular raffle, you're going to win, if you are the lucky person, a mini Moog signed by Peter Gabriel himself. It is actually a vintage mini Moog. I think it's 1970 something or other. There's serial numbers. There's a whole bunch of information on the link that I just posted in chat, and it's valued at $7,500 US. It's been serviced by the one and only who's sitting in the chat right now, Kent Spong. So he's had his hands on it and fixed it all up. So he could tell you a little bit about it if you ask him nicely. But yeah, who's going to buy a ticket out of us four here? I probably will. I'll probably buy a ticket.
Probably not for
You only have to have one ticket to win it.
Yeah, I know. I've never been good with entering raffles and things like that.
Yeah, I never win them either.
I was
Yeah.
brought up by my dad not to do those kind of things. Keep hold of your money, son. Keep hold of your money.
Oh, I've got to get this. I can't buy tickets apparently.
No lottery tickets either.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to buy tickets because.
Oh, no, you've been banned. Oh, that means
Hang
me
on.
too.
Is it going to update? Please update. Update. And we go back to the problem where this thing doesn't update now, have we? Oh, there we go. We've banned you from buying tickets, Ranzee, as Kent has to pay the postage on the thing. Indeed.
I'm not buying one out of respect for Kent. Then that would be the reason.
Oh, now you've given him an out. Now you're giving him an out. There was an Australian that did win a Moog, Bob Moog
Wonderful.
Foundation raffle in the last 15 years, 10 years. Because I remember someone from Moog telling me about it. Because I had this, comment like, "Oh, no one from Australia ever wins it," and I went, "Actually, there was a guy, blah blah blah," and and they were right. Some guy in Australia won. I forget what it was. It was probably a mini Moog. But yeah, $25. I think it's pretty decent. Just for a little fleet, and you could. It's going to a good cause, and you could win a mini Moog signed by Mr. Sledgehammer himself. Yes, indeed. Right. Shall we talk about this? Shall we? The leaks came out like a bad bathroom during the week, and then Ableton just said, "Stuff it. I'm just gonna show you guys what we're talking about." And I think with every right, this is what we're talking about. It's basically the same video with a bunch of different artists trying the move out. All right, let me have a little chat to you guys about this first. This is kind of what I grabbed from all the videos that I watched on it, and I probably didn't watch enough, to be honest, because I've had a busy week. But I thought 64 gigabytes worth of internal storage, where 50 of those 64 gigs are for you to use. 32 sets, 4 tracks, 16 bars of 16 loops, which equals 256 steps, I think, is what I worked it out to be. Samples can be up to 4 minutes per pad in stereo, which is what I also worked out. Tracks can be resampled and bounced down to a drum pad, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you're thinking to yourself, this thing's only got 4 tracks, it's very limited, you can bounce it down to a drum pad. And then you actually work out that the drum pads themselves are very, very flexible. They can be pitched. There's a whole bunch of really, really cool things that you can do with them. And technically, it's polyphonic in that sense, and it's also, it's got the Ableton push style pads on it. So if you're looking at the actual physical unit itself, it's pretty decent. Battery powered, chargeable. It really kind of made me go, oh, hang on a minute, I was about to buy a Roland P6 sampler, and maybe I don't need to buy that now. I might get this instead, because this workflow is more what I am used to. Probably Daren as well. It's about $749 in Australia. It's about 400 and something pounds or something, I think. 380 pounds, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 399 to about 440, I think. Is the sort of...
Yeah, I think it's about 440 US. Is that right, Andy? I think it's 440 US. You're muted, buddy. Anyway,
yeah, about 450 US.
Okay, so a lot of people, I don't know why they get brand loyal and things like that, but a lot of people started saying, really, that meme that I showed at the start of the show was more truth than humor, to be fair. There was a lot of people getting butthurt about this because they're saying, well, the circuit does this, the the OPZ does this, the Roland P6 does this.
It's so much more than a circuit. Yeah, it's just...
But it's like, does everyone have to stick in their lanes, do they?
Apparently you have to invent a sampler that nothing's ever done that particular function ever before.
You must be
apparently
completely original.
Yeah.
Look, if they want to complain, the monome was first, right? Everyone copied the monome, so...
Yeah. Okay, so for me, it's pretty cool. I mean, I was probably still going to get a push 3 because I actually do like the idea of that. It won't stop me, but this thing is more for portability, chucking it around different parts of your studio, chuck it in your backpack, put it on a plane, put it on a bus, put it on a train. Daren's park bench looks lovely with this around it.
This is my ultimate park bench toy. So
yeah. And
well, because it blends in with what I use, and so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm going to go to you guys because I'm kind of keen to find out what you all think. So, who wants to have a chat about this first? Put your hand up, and I'll hit the button. Maybe Daren.
I mean, I have tons of stuff
Andy?
like this already, but yeah, I have a bunch of circuits. I have obviously a Machina Plus and a Kai Force and even a small MPC and some other stuff. But I like the workflow. I like the fact that it can sample pretty easily instead of having to just import samples. I like the fact that it has some clever DJ tricks like the OPZ has in it, so you can do some audio tweaking on the fly. Easy like TR type sequencing at the bottom, but so many more steps. And it's essentially Ableton Note. So Ableton Note inside a box, and they partner very well. They work together. They can move back and forth projects, go into Ableton Live, make it even crazier. They're working on bringing it back. So if you want to bring like a subset of your Ableton thing you've tweaked the hell out of back to the small hardware, they probably will be able to do that at some point. But this alone is it's got the same 4-track thing. You got multi-touch obviously with the iPad or an iPhone. Lots of cool stuff, arpeggiators and other kinds of stuff on here. Easy editing, so it's kind of a no-brainer if you're into these kind of modules at all. These kind of boxes and performance things, portable gear, park bench compatible, blah blah blah. So the price isn't bad. Even Nick Batt was saying he was shocked how good the price was for what it does. So so it's not going to do everything. It's obviously not going to be anywhere near the push 3, but it's not supposed to be that way. And it's not full MPE. It's poly aftertouch with some some pressure settings and stuff, which is still fine for a portable device. That's pretty cool. And the price and stuff. So it's if I had the money, I'd get it. I just don't have the money.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. I don't think you don't probably have to rush out and buy this. This is probably not one of those smaller sort of developers that they've only got 100 or 200 and you need to be the first to get it. If you definitely needed something like that for your production, rush out and buy it. It'll be around for a bit, I think. And I kind of have the feeling that they'll keep updating this because that Ableton Note is constantly being redeveloped and improved for the iOS platform. Chris, what do you think?
I don't hate this at all. I quite like it, but I think it's possibly not for me, only because it lacks a few things. It doesn't have MIDI outputs. It doesn't have, obviously, CV and gate outputs, but that's not such a huge issue. But no MIDI is a bit of a barrier for me. And I'm not sure about the knob and the screen being on the left-hand side. I really would prefer it on the right-hand side. But apart from those kind of things, I like what I see here.
Mm-hmm.
The USB-C is class compliant, so you can do MIDI out. You just have to do USB to a dongle like a Mio or something. Right. So throw a Mio in your bag and you're ready to go.
Yeah,
so.
and also Ableton Link works with it as well.
Ableton
Yes,
Link,
well,
yeah, too, and wireless too. I
the-
forgot to mention it
yeah,
does
the
wireless for
Wi-Fi,
syncing and backups and stuff.
the Wi-Fi is great. I think it's a great addition. And that certainly means easy to work with. Ableton running in your computer, do Ableton Link to that, and can sync them both up. Get best of both worlds. Yeah, no, so I don't hate it. It's just got a few little, I'm not sure things, but it's definitely now in the mix because I would like to get an Akai thing or an Ableton thing or some box like this. I get a bit of that from the tracker, but the tracker is very specific in how you do things, and I don't want to be restricted in that way. I feel as though it's creatively can be useful, but it gets a drain on your creativity after a while, and I kind of think the other workflows might work better for me
Indeed.
in the long term. So this is definitely in the mix now, especially because it's quite affordable, and it's a no-brainer from my perspective for Ableton as a company, because they've never really had anything in this price bracket that's hardware. So this is kind of a bit of a watershed moment for them, I think, and perhaps for the community or the situation. You know what I'm getting at.
Well, word is that they're flying out at the moment, so that's the word I'm getting. I can't tell you who the source is, but that they are being hammered by orders for this.
So that's good. That's sort of buzz factor plus, it's stacking up. But you do get a massive bump in sales just because you announce something, which I'm sure they would know how to compensate statistically for
the launch curve.
They know where it goes and they know where it's gone, and they go, no, it's really exploding.
Indeed, yes.
No, I'm not surprised.
Well, because pretty much the only thing with Poly AT on small pads like this that's portable is the Hydrosynth module.
Yeah.
And not much else, right? Push 3 is much bigger. So
it's definitely a 2024 device. It's like it's screaming something. Oh, that was 2024. We didn't have that in 2023. So it really still feels fresh, even though, interestingly, it is based on an iPad app. But it does show you that you can still recontextualize things and open up your mind a bit, or open up a different way of sort of interacting with things. I mean, I'm always a big fan.
Also, the screen is small, but the font's pretty big, actually, considering the screen. A lot of things with small screens have tiny fonts.
Yeah, it's just over that side. I wish it was on the other side. But
yeah. What about you, Daren?
It's a pet peeve.
Well, at first, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, it's just like everyone thought. It's just a. Well, I didn't think it was just a circuit, because it's not. But there's nothing wrong with copying something like a circuit or an MPZ or whatever if you're going to improve it and blend it into your ecosystem, because this is like Ableton's ecosystem is now growing. I remember back way in Ableton 8, I was on the phone to I was having issues getting Ableton 8 to work on my computer at the time, and when you could actually phone them up, I don't know, you still kind of phone them up with some helpline, and I was always saying, why it'd be good if you could have like Ableton on a standalone thing, never thinking of in years to come they actually would have done it. So they're sort of moving into, it's all right making doors and improving them, but Ableton have like got that, they're moving to, like I say, create an ecosystem, so the hardware as well. So, and this is on my shopping list when I've got the cash, because it's just, I've used Note and I don't mind it on the iPad, but this is just, like I say, it's taking it out of the box, it's giving you that bit of sort of hands-on rather than being on an iPad or anything, which I don't mind iPads or anything, I'll just let you know. But I like the sort of hands-on feel, and it can do a lot for what the amount it's costing, considering, like you say, you push 3, what, you're up at $1,500, probably 1.7, I think. And with this is an ideas sort of box, so your sketching box. Don't get me wrong, you can make full tracks on it, but it's a sketching box that is so easy, just and simple to just drop into Ableton, and like Andy says, probably trying to work on a way getting some of it back from Ableton into this, and it's just going to work seamlessly rather than having a different manufacturer doing something that's supposed to work with Ableton, no names mentioned, but doesn't quite do what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I like this, and it will be. I will say it's on my. I don't know if I can put it on my Christmas list because I don't know that I've got the cash, but it's definitely. I think if I'm going to get anything next, it will probably be this. But yeah, I mean, everyone said what I was going to say, so I'm only sort of babbling on here a bit. But I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good move, and there's nothing wrong with copying. If you know, when people say it's like a circuit, that's fine. They're bringing it into their ecosystem, they're improving it, and they're making it work how, you know, within their ecosystem, which is great. So yeah, it's a thumbs up for me. And the cost, like I say, Ableton usually quite expensive on the Push, and even the original Push 2, which I have at the side of me, that costs more than this does. And this is, like you say, standalone. I mean, it's got some of the great Ableton synths on there. I think there's drifts on there. I forget the other two, but and I like the Ableton, you know, the onboard synths and stuff. So yeah, all I can say is great. I mean, some people won't like it, but if they're into a different ecosystem, they're not going to like it. But for a park bench compatible instrument, it's up there in the top 10.
BBC stamp.
Exactly. I think they need to bring this in. We need to get in contact with them now. On any of the small boxes, we need a PBC stamp on it.
Yeah.
A purple one.
Okay, you know, it comes with Kensington.
But this even has like nice features like
PBC
touch
sticker.
encoders. A lot of things don't have that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those touch encoders, they have little lights underneath them, as well as the information on the OLED display shows what's going on with them. So it's quite intuitive in that sense.
Yeah, it's a clever way of using a single screen.
I think there's a few of us here that have been circuit owners or currently still are circuit owners. I was the original circuit
the original
owner.
circuit up there.
Yep.
I had it before they had a cloud for it.
One of the things that I always wanted the circuit to do is probably what this is doing. And I know they brought out their other two models later on, and they I don't know. Some people will probably shoot me for this, but I feel like they didn't quite do the right thing with the second go at circuit. I feel like this should have probably been more of what they should have done. There should have been a display on it. There should have been some more intuitiveness with the way you manipulate the samples and things like that. I know you can do a lot of stuff with button combinations on the circuit, but we were talking about this the other week with modular. You have to remember, if you're not using it every day, you have to remember how all this stuff works. Whereas this particular device, you touch one of those knobs, or it'll tell you what's happening in there, and you know it's pretty intuitive that way. And for those who have used Ableton Note, a lot of people who have talked to me about it have said that they actually are starting to prefer Ableton Note over Ableton because they've taken some of the complexity out of it, and it's made it a little bit more simpler to sort of get their creativity flowing. In fact, so what of their
also Rand.
What's that? Sorry.
Also, as you mentioned, this has been sort of designed around an existing like Ableton Note, whereas the Novation was sort of built, and then they tried to make the software and sort of implementation around the item they'd already built. Yeah. So because this has come the other way, it's much more seamless, and like you say, it does more what you want it to do.
This also competes with the Roland MC101. It has more pads and more capabilities, but it's the same kind of form factor and more pads, obviously. But that's in the same ballpark almost. I think I paid $350 or something for my 101, whatever it was. I forgot.
Yeah.
So,
and in a way too,
hit in a bunch of different areas here.
I mean, I sold my circuit about a year and a half ago, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just wasn't using it, so I sold it. But I was thinking to myself the other day, I miss it. You know, I wouldn't mind pulling out the circuit and mucking around with it. And then this thing pops up, and I'm thinking to myself, Okay, this is
Sign.
a fairly decent modern replacement. Yeah. Anyway, let us know in chat what you guys think. And if you want me to read your comment out, you can highlight my name, I guess, at Ranzee, and I'll pop it up into the bubble and you guys can have a chat about it. Also, if you guys have got questions in chat, please put question or Q : or something to sort of signify that you got a question for us to answer. So I know a lot of you guys in chat know probably more than us, so not expecting many of them, but if there is someone who's lurking and thinking to themselves, I've got a question, I want to know a bit about stuff, do chuck it in there with a Q : in front of it, the Q, capital Q, the 2 dots : that's called, it's called a colon, isn't it? Yeah.
2 dots, yeah.
Not the thing that sits in your butt. Yeah.
That's a semicolon.
Good point. Yes,
Andy.
oh dear, when you're getting that on,
Andy fell
it's a
into
semicolon.
Oh, geez, guys.
And half of it's in and half of it's out. No, I won't go there.
That's for the senior synth stream. Yeah, it's a semicolon.
Well, I think where this is probably at now, it's probably going to have its issues. People are going to get frustrated with it.
Oh, yeah.
But I also feel that it's going to be something that they will develop, because that, like I said before, that Ableton Note application for iOS is being updated and developed quite actively as well. And I kind of feel that this is a little sort of niche corner that it's like almost like this is their company. They want to branch out a little bit that way to sort of capture people that don't necessarily need to really nerd out on their DAW. And then they thought, okay, well, we could actually make this into a hardware product. So it's pretty genius, really.
And at least it'll be supported. That Exquist that came out that Ian bought, that I was thinking about getting, that has MPE pads on it, it's not well supported at all.
Yeah.
So there's not even an iOS app for it yet, I don't think. So go with something like this instead. It's going to be good.
So argument's saying, would I spend my money on a Move, I think he meant to say, or a Behringer MS5? Well, if the Taco girl is here and she could tell us all, she'd say, why not both? But probably Move, yeah. I would probably go Move. By the way, we are going to be talking about the MS5 a little bit later in the show, so do stick around, because there is going to be a little bit of a comparison and discussion going on about the Behringer MS5. So without it stealing the limelight at the moment. Anyway, shall we move on? Haha, did you see what I did there?
Oh, I see what you did there.
How did that get in there?
How did they get in? We're not ready for that. Wrong picture, right?
Definitely wrong
subtitle.
picture. It definitely is in the folder. I'm going to delete it out of the folder. How did that get in the folder, people?
That's human error again. Jeez. By the way, hello, human
What's
error.
my
In chat?
delete button gone? Okay, there it is.
You've lost the delete button. That's been deleted.
No, do you know what I did?
Push the any key.
All your base up along.
What I did is I cleaned my keyboard the other day, and I put the keys back on, and I've just put the end and the delete button around the wrong way. Silly me. I probably just was in a hurry doing it. Anyway, let's talk about this humongously amazing looking thing, which is by Analogue Solutions. This is the TC5000. It looks, if your eyes aren't deceiving you and you're thinking to yourself, is that a ARP 2500? Well, not really, but it damn well is close to one. It's inspired by one, absolutely. Yeah. There is a little video that we can show. Why don't we have a little play of the video, and we'll go there. there it is. We should go back to there. So we've got that working for us. Okay, this was we chat. Not we, but we as in everyone in the synth community were chatting about this probably all week. Obviously, there was a bit of chatting about it on the ProSynth network yesterday. What more can we add to this other than the fact that my jaw was on the ground for about 6 hours whilst I was looking at this thing? My ears were having gasms.
Oh no.
Yeah. But then I looked at the price tag of 22,000.
Yeah,
and I thought to myself,
crying no.
It's never going to happen. It's just going to be just a dream.
Well, like they say, if you have to ask how much it costs, don't bother. So.
Yeah. For those of you that will be putting it in the back seat of your Lamborghini on the way home, good luck.
Well,
you know,
I'm sure when Kent needs to repair one, he'll let you play with it. For a while.
Someone in chat said, "I'll wait for the VST." Very topical for this week. That comment. What I will do though is, I think what we can talk about today, because I think a lot of the information that we needed to find out about this thing was really well covered on the ProSynth Network show, and Sonic State as well. So what I want to cover is the choice of the modules that they've chosen here and why, and how different they are to the original ARP 2500, how different the Matrix is, which is basically your modulation mapping system for this, and how different this is to the Behringer Eurorack option that's out there, which if you want, it's the poor man's way of achieving this without the Matrix, basically. So that's kind of where I was thinking. Anyone want to comment on that?
It's one of those ones where I reckon you know the most about the up 2500 series of all of us here, so I was going to defer to Ranzee in explaining the difference between there being sliders, but this one does not have sliders. How would the original have used the sliders?
So in the Matrix itself?
Yeah.
So the Matrix were basically positioned, they were keyed positions. So you would sort of would go down.
It's like a switch on the Mini Nova where you can choose the Matrix with the long slider switch.
Not really so much a slider per se. They're more like a positional switch. Yeah, a positional switch.
Oh, so like a really long slide switch with
many
positions.
Stops.
So you had to go click. Yeah. Okay. Whereas these are actual pins, and therefore they can have different modulation depths by using different coloured pins, I assume. Which is usually what you get with pins.
Yeah.
So the Switch wouldn't have had that. And also, I guess it would be, do you reckon pin matrices would be cheaper than a massive long bespoke Switch? Probably would be.
I think so. And also there's a lot of people now are remaking these pin matrices, we should call it probably, I think. In fact, there's a product that I'm going to show a little bit later on that has a pin matrix in it. So there would probably be a few options out there on the market that they could, repurpose, I think.
But also the obvious thing I just realised is that multiple destinations down the one column, which you couldn't do with the Switch. So it's much more modulation.
Much more
complex.
Yep.
Much more modulation.
Yeah. Obviously, if we're looking at the Matrix is probably the big, reinvention part of this. But obviously it's a cross between a 2500 and a VCS3. But I think what we should also look at is the choices of the modules and the sequencer. The things like the ring mod, there's some interesting stuff.
They're recognisable, aren't they? Yeah. I was going to get a closer up picture so that we could see them in more detail. Is there any chance you could zoom that one? Because I'm still struggling on some of the 2500 modules because I don't own any of them. Thanks, man. Yeah, so it looks like we've got 3 oscillators, Definitely at least one sequencer. It looks like two sequences. Or is that a filter bank?
I might actually pop this into my little zoomer,
That would be
and
great.
we'll go here, and then
I certainly recognise the ADSR envelope, dual envelope.
position. Okay, we should be able to zoom in on this. It's not going to be like the best.
No, it's
clarity.
that's what the media's out at the moment though. So that's the best we got.
Okay, so
That's fine.
first module, if you haven't worked it out, is connectivity. It's the MIDI. It's so that one is pretty obvious what that does. Then you have 3 oscillators.
Cool.
They're all pretty much identical. So you've got
Mm.
your waveforms on the right hand side with
Variables,
the 2 different
mix
types.
levels, yeah.
You know, so you got sawtooth and ramps, and then triangle, and then pulse and square, and it's got pulse width modulation. It's got so it's pretty similar to the 1004. It's pretty similar in that sense. The difference, though, being is it's pretty hard to see on this graphic though, and I could probably zoom in a bit more, but I just think it'll just pixelate. But you can see where those modulation. Why is that going the wrong way? Where those modulation pins are, there's little graphics that will point to what they are, and so output's the far right hand side. Then the one to the left of output is the square, then the triangle, then the sawtooth. So, and then that means that those things can be accessed directly. So that means that you can mix and share the generated waveforms from this directly, which is a pretty cool thing. So whilst it doesn't sort of look sexy on the panel itself, it's the matrix that makes it kind of cool, if that makes sense, right? You guys are with me, aren't you, on that?
It kind of it's kind of making it rival or at least match what you can do with modular.
Yeah.
With patch
So
cables.
So you probably don't need to have a lot more functionality on the actual module itself because of the way the matrix benefits it, if that makes sense. Okay. So things like cross modulation can be achieved by patching one waveform from one oscillator into another oscillator and things like that, right? So these sort of things don't need to be physically on the module; they can just be patched. And they're kind of, in a way, it's less intuitive to look at, but much more flexible in that sense. Obviously next is the filter. I don't really know what type of filter it is. I haven't had a chance to go that deep into it. It is, I think, if I was a guess, I think it's the same as the filter amp module in the 2500. And if that's the case, it's probably a ladder filter, if that's the case. But I'm only guessing, so don't kill me if I'm wrong. Then you've got the sequential controller, which is very similar to what Behringer have remade, and is similar to what's on the 2500. But there's a few sort of interesting things to do with the matrix that make that probably a bit different. You've got a voltage generator. The 2500 had that. You've got your dual envelope generator. The 2500 had that. It's pretty similar. Then you've got your preset voltage module there. The 2500 had that as well. Sample and hold had the this thing here is that switchable sort of gate sequencer thing, which is slightly different looking to what the 2500 had, but that's their take on it. There's another envelope generator there. Then you've got another filter, so it's a duplicate, so that's exactly the same. And then at the back is your mixer. So I mean, let's not like rubbish the thing, but it's a 3 oscillator mono synth.
Yeah.
It's very, quite purely it's kind of pure in its unclutteredness. It has very
has those cool retro graphics on it
curated.
too, like all the schematic stuff and all that.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's like a curated set of modules.
The
There's
thing
nerd cred all over it.
The thing for me is not knowing enough about this, so I'm not rubbishing at all, but I think I've been a little bit spoilt with Eurorack, right? And there's going to be things that I would expect this to do that I can do on my Eurorack, and I'm not sure if this can. Like, for example, I might want to attenuate something on this. So I might want to invert a voltage on an oscillator or an LFO. I can't see anywhere on this where you can do attenuating on this.
Yeah, I guess the thing here is, ironically, is there's really no expandability.
Yeah.
He's going to put end
It's
pieces.
weird that
in
we're
there, he
saying
said, at
that
some point.
for something that's worth.
He's going to add more side pieces to it later.
Probably, and that's it's gonna have to be a lot of utility stuff on there, right? So,
Because the Colossus has side pieces, he has other stuff that. Does
yeah,
that
you
as
got the
well,
two
so-
wings, yeah.
Wings, yeah. That's it.
I mean that was just one example, but there's plenty. You could give it plenty.
Like
know,
Ranzee, you have the 2500 clones in a full set, right?
not the full set. I haven't got the sequences
You're close to the full set.
close to the full set. Yeah.
And because even that's missing stuff, right? You still need to augment without Eurorack, like you said. Even a full 2500 won't do everything. You still need to add other goodies to it, right?
Oh, of course. Like, you would be frustrated if you just had that in your rack. There would be things that you would have to go and buy. Like, for example, a Make Noise Maths.
Yeah.
That would probably be one of the first products you'd want to buy. It does have an envelope generator in it. And the envelope generator in it's actually really, really good. It's actually quite snappy. I like it. But you want to have some sort of CV manipulation tool device. I think the Maths is probably the first one. Some sort of function generator, right?
Dedicated LFO.
Dedicated. You'd probably want to look at some sort of form of sequence manipulation. So this has got a fair bit in it in that sense, but it'd be nice to have, things like what Chris has done with his GP82. Those sort of gate processing. Being able to do, ratcheting and clock division and that sort of stuff. So you'd need some sort of manipulation that way. Technically, you could do that
sound,
through the MIDI.
I would just get like the Leipzig that he makes. It's much cheaper. You still get that nice sound that he makes, and then just go with the 2500 clone modules. So
yeah.
Hook it with the Leipzig, and then you have, some of his sound plus the control of a 2500.
The thing you got to be careful of, though, is these people that have remade, Behringer have remade the 2500. They say that it's a faithful recreation. They say that it's close to the original, but I think if you were to sort of forensically get an electronic engineer to compare a 2500 to the Behringer modules, they would find flaws in it. And I know this is not a stab at Rob or anything, because Rob Kibble's brilliant at what he's done, but there will be shortcuts that they've had to do because it needs to comply with Eurorack voltage standards.
That's right.
There will be things that
Well, like
they've
Ken
had to
was
leave
saying
out.
about the Moog System 55 clone he has from Behringer, it's not really a 55. It's cool and it sounds nice, but it doesn't have the balls like a 55 has in it.
Yeah, it probably doesn't have the sound, but it has the features, if that makes sense. It's like I don't know. I don't want to poo on car brands, but if you look at the feature sets of Mazdas, they almost equal some of the luxury cars, right, with their feature sets, but they're a lot cheaper. And once you actually start driving them, you'll realize that feature that they said which does that isn't exactly the same as a feature in a luxury car that says that it does that. Does that make sense? Like, you're not really you're getting the labeled feature, but it doesn't do anything like what the luxury car can do. So you got to be careful, like, shopping based on specs. And I think your point, Andy, is really, really good. Your ears are the best deciding factor about whether you like something. Hard to do with modular, though.
It is.
Would you agree?
Also, even to be fair, with Mini Moog over the years, you have the RA Moogs, you have the Model D official that everyone got, and then you have throughout the years all the different variants, including the old school and stuff that came later. They all sound very different. They're all Mini Moogs, but they all sound very different. because they're all made at different times, different components. They change as they age, all that kind of stuff. So even within a mini Moog line, you can have all those variations.
Yeah.
You can't expect a clone from Behringer to sound just like something original. So
I think anyone who does expect it, though, is really just trying to trick themselves or kid themselves, if that makes sense.
Well, trying to justify their purchase and feel good about it, and just say, "I've got I got just the same thing as they've got."
Yeah.
There is an element of that, but there's also the whole sort of you're playing in a different world. So I kind of think of a eurorack version of an ARP 2500. Say, it's an ARP 2500 as it would have been designed by the engineer if he'd been restricted by the same eurorack specifications that existed. If it existed when he was building synthesizers. So, engineers supposedly making probably similar choices, but the results will be slightly different because you're operating in a different universe, if you know what I mean. So I kind of think of the clones and recreations, if they're operating in a different, electrical environment, it's just another universe, a parallel universe of that sound. It doesn't mean it's, and not necessarily it being exactly the same is necessarily the be-all and the end-all of desirability, at least from my perspective. A good example being, the System 55 clones by Behringer is very cool, Kent's words. It's just not 55. But it didn't exist before then, did it? We had nothing that was exactly that sort of level of coolness.
Well, you had a few people doing it, but yeah, you're right.
It's
Yeah.
sort of
Moon Modular
parallel
made the
universe.
clone stuff.
Yeah.
And all, so.
Yeah.
But
I have to
this
say
mini
that
Moog app is great,
Just
right?
vibe thing.
And it sounds wonderful. It's made by Moog, but it's not a mini Moog. I'm not going to say,
yeah.
I got a mini Moog. Here it is.
yeah,
It sounds
my
good,
phone.
but it's not a mini Moog.
I think one of the things that we forget though is that how cool would it be standing in front of this thing and playing and making sounds out of it, right?
It would be quite inspiring. That's the thing.
That's probably
however it sounds.
Forget about how much you've just bled out of your bank account for it.
Isn't it like above?
Also,
above
as people say too, if you have it in your
$2,000,
studio, you get street cred. You're going to say, "Oh, this guy's serious." You might get more clients because of it, right?
That's true.
What?
It's a
Seriously.
business decision.
You might
a
actually
lot.
want to be good first, though, Andy.
No. I mean, people literally say that. You have
Oh my
interviews with
God.
people who said that. The clients say, "Oh, he's impressive. Look what he's got."
The
He can figure
superficial
this out. He can do
society.
It's sad. Yeah, it's
It
sad.
is sad.
That's like. I mean, it's not going to fit in my studio. Let's face it. It costs more than the whole studio.
Well, Goo's already getting the checkbook out. I can tell you right now. He's going to hold up
Look
his
at all the
new
people with
his new
fancy
room
sports
that he's
cars at home.
building.
They don't know how to drive them with the dam. So
Yeah, it's just prestige.
But I mean, look, when I look at these things, I'm thinking to myself, hey, cool, someone is now making a 2500. It's not really a 2500, but hey, if someone wanted, you can't buy them new anymore, right? If someone wanted something that was pretty close to being a 2500, there you go. And how much was a 2500 originally? I've got the prices somewhere, but if you were to put it in today's value, it would be more than this. More than this.
Yeah, it would be.
Don't forget too, Analogue
Several
Solutions.
luxury BMWs.
They're based in the UK. They're a boutique company that makes everything to order. So they're not just going to make these and have them in stock.
They said he made them by hand in the back of his shed. I hope it's not a shed.
It's a pretty decent shed, from what I know.
plus he's incredibly prolific. I mean, he's cranking these things out like crazy.
Yeah.
The Colossus, and he had the what's the one after the Colossus, the really tall one.
I know what you mean.
Already,
Maximus. Or
and then
something.
this one.
Yeah.
Maximus, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one is like, geez, this guy just keeps going.
Yeah.
He's been busy, hasn't he? Like, just to create that much stuff alone, let alone design.
He said in the Sonic State interview, he's like, I get this pressure on to make stuff now. People keep expecting me to make stuff, so he's got all this built-in pressure. Like, I got to keep making all this stuff.
Well, I think he should make a time machine. I mean,
Internal
he's
drive.
getting close to it right now. Talk about pressure.
Do you think he's got up to 88 miles per hour yet?
Oh, mate.
He's a flux capacitor module.
He
Yeah.
needs to find a
Exactly,
steam
yeah.
train.
Yeah.
He'll be all good. DeLorean out the front. Right, we should keep going because we've got Eurorack to show. Ha yes. Suckers who don't like Eurorack, we're back. This one is the Nano Modules ARC. And Chris, you know a little bit about this, don't you?
Oh, remind me again. It is open in a tab, so it's definitely one of the ones I looked at.
Okay. It's a dual
Which one? Is
function
it-
generator.
Oh, okay. So it's like a make maths multiplied by 2 in one smaller package.
It's like half a
2
maths.
maths. Well, it's 2 of them. So isn't it? Oh no, maths is already.
Maths has
2
4
of them.
parts,
Right.
or 2 sides, 4 parts. So.
What I wrote on here is on my notes, show website. There's a little note to myself. So I guess I'm going to have to show the website. There's a reason for it, and that is because there's no video, but I think if we show the website, it's going to show kind of what this thing
gonna
does.
Communicate
stop with the
something
pop-ups.
better, at least. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Probably why it's open on one of my tabs.
It's a function generator. It's a fairly hefty size module. Nice. I think it's quite a nice looking design. Just looking at the design,
It's quite
I
good.
do like.
the gold.
I've got a few modules that have got the ribbed style knobs. I don't mind that. They're still smooth to touch,
Vintage.
but the little indents on them are quite good because you can slide your finger up and down the side. Functionality wise, it's basically it's almost like there's 2 hemispheres with this thing, right?
Yeah.
Cut down the middle. Anyway,
Like a
let's.
mirror.
There's the price, €225.
That was probably why it was still open on my tab.
Yeah.
So it's like you look at all that and go,
That's
what?
pretty cheap, actually.
€225?
Yeah.
So
Surely.
you guys can read,
that's
but you know, I'm not here like reading this because I know you guys can read, but I'm just sort of mentioning these things because it does sort of come down the same sort of path as what a make noise math is, right? But there is a whole bunch of other things that this does that maths doesn't do, but you'll probably see similarities in it. Like, for example, maths can be an envelope generator. It can also be an AD/ASR style. It can also be a VCO. I think you can get maths to be a VCO, LFO. There's a slewing feature on this. There's waveform modulations with a polarizer. And this is basically all the sort of functionality. I don't know if it's coming through clear enough on your screens there, guys, but
Looks good from here.
really nice design, I feel like, with your, you know, if someone said to me redesign a maths, this is probably what this guy's done.
Yeah, given that is one of the most impenetrable front panels in history,
Yep.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, maths
Yeah.
is pretty nerdy.
Yeah.
It's a visual design which I think, you know, is ripe for reinvention.
But this thing's got looping, you know, which maths does as well. It's got
It's got a adder.
an adder in it, yeah.
It's got some logic stuff in it, hands
Yep.
and oars.
DC offsetting. So these are all the different sort of functions that it does. These are the type of envelopes that it can do.
Wow, this is an impressive website.
Yeah, this is why I thought I'd show it because I just thought someone's
This
gone
is-
to a lot of trouble.
This is very pretty. Can they do my websites?
Nah, lots of animated GIFs.
Oh, that's so much work.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was playing around with. It's interesting that they're showing the inversion. I was playing around with the tenuverters the other day on a maths because they literally do what you would expect them to do, and that is they invert the waveform. There's the heart of the function generator.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the basics, isn't it?
And there's a massive
so
big
logical
video
functions, yeah.
by our friend Ben, which I'm not going to
Which
show
we can't
because
show, yes.
he doesn't let me. No, he doesn't let me. That's not true. That's not fair. I shouldn't say that. It's YouTube doesn't let me show his videos.
Yes.
I look.
Is it just a claim?
If I email Ben and said, "Hey Ben, can I show you a video?" he'd be like, hell yeah. Sorry, Keith's just popped into Zoom and I just want to add him in. He'd be hell yeah. He'd be, yep, no problems at all. But then it's a pain in the ass because then YouTube will still claim it and then he has to go in and somehow fix it and release it. And we just went. And Ben's a very, very busy man, so I don't really want to.
That's the thing. It's extremely the YouTube permission system. Let's call it the copyright permission system. Part of their system is designed to be as difficult to use as possible.
It's terrible.
So they obviously don't want people to give permission to any of their videos to anyone else, which is bizarre. But
just letting Keith know in the YouTube chat that he's in. So if he wants to turn his camera on, if he's not on his camera, his audio is connected. So if he wants to swear, he can do that right now. Anyway, that is the ARC by Nano Modules. Someone may like that more than a maths. They might think, I understand this better. Yeah. I like
it better than a maths.
I like the way this is mapped out. This actually has a bit more logic flow to it. I probably feel that it does, but the math's been around for a long time, so plenty of opportunities for people to sort of have a sit and think about what they would do with the maths to make it better, right? And even still before maths was made, it was on Buchla, so wasn't it? It was the Surge thing, right, Andy?
Surge and Buchla.
Yeah.
Long
Somewhere between the two, yeah.
Cool. Shall we go next?
Yeah.
Next is this. Yes. We have to do this, don't we? Well, I don't have to, but I want to for two reasons. I love the SynthX. You guys know that I love the SynthX. It's one of my favorite synths. And I don't love VSTs as much as hardware synths. I'm honest with you guys. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion about things, right? But I really, really fail to see any VST come close to doing what a hardware synth can do. However, this is pretty cool. I don't have a problem with what they've done. I think they've got the essence of this. I think anyone who plays in the computer world that likes to make their music inside a box, they'll love this. I think they, especially if they've got that vintage feel that they want to achieve. Yeah. We will talk about this in Saturday Sonority at the end of the show a little bit more, where I want to talk a little bit about VSTs and their accuracy when they're starting to make claims about that they're recreating
the media around it.
Yeah. And they're using words like analog and like them completely.
Again, you can't like do with the phone. You can't. I got a mini Moog. You can't say you got a SynthX when you have this, but it still sounds cool and it's fun to use.
And a lot of great music will be written with it.
You've got something that sounds similar to a SynthX, is what you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could fool people if you wanted to, basically.
So let's have a play of their video, and we guys 30 seconds. We'll give them some love. We'll do it via the React method. Not analog. Sorry guys, it's not analog. Stop saying stuff. It's analog. Please. Arturia, you guys should know better. You've got analog hardware synths, and I love your analog hardware synths. Stop saying things are analog.
It's DCO.
Well, even the Elka SynthX did have analog stuff in it. It had analog filters and it had an analog chorus circuit. So it did have analog stuff in it, but it ain't.
I thought it was
it's sitting in your computer. They were
things.
DCOs, yeah, no problem there. There were DCOs, but it's in your computer. It is
Just
not analog. Not one part of that is analog. It's binary. It's code. It's lines of code. So you can say it's virtual analog. You can say virtual analog is fine. I'm completely fine with that.
Circuit emulation or something.
But please,
we have lots of good names for it. But
it's not like I'm the analog police either. I'm not,
It's
not standing with a rifle.
It's the classic debate. It's the debate over use of language. people know what you mean now, so we can call it Analogue, and everyone knows what you mean.
Well, it's like
so
saying vintage.
we can get
None of this
away
stuff
with
is
it now.
vintage. It's all software, right?
My other issue with this
Yeah,
is if I go to Arturia's website, and we'll visit there, we'll share this together. Okay, let's share that. I'll visit Arturia's website with you all. Here we go.
prepare for some outrage.
Here we are at Arturia's website, and I'm going to click on this link here that says SynthX-V, get your best offer. Okay. 199, I'm guessing this is Australian dollars. It could be US. There's no way of ever knowing unless they put AUD or USD next to it.
I hate that. Yeah. So
I
you're
thought it
logged
was.
in.
It knows
That's
your
your
region,
logged in
right? Doesn't
offer.
it give you a price based on your region?
I don't think I'm logged in. So let's say it's Australian, okay? But $199 for a software synth. I'm sorry, guys, but that is really expensive. Just for one software synth, that is getting insanely expensive.
Well, the software version of the Mini Freak is like $150, I think.
Yeah,
If you don't buy the Mini Freak, they're free with it. So
I bought a hardware synth for less than that the other day.
It almost feels like it's kind of like, oh crap, we this one took a little longer to make than we did. Oh my god, has it been 10 years? Okay, well, that's the price we said we'd put it at 10 years ago. Bang.
Did you see
It's like it's 2010 pricing.
Did you see that it says on above the price though, it said enjoy for a limited time discount. So that $199 is actually their discounted price.
God, I hope not.
this is why I always get this stuff wrapped in bundles and holiday deals. I don't ever buy.
Does
it
anyone else
straight up.
knows what it does other than make attempts at synthex sounds? Does it make coffee? Does it take my kids to school? What does it do?
Arturia seem to, it's the bundle. It's all about the bundles with Arturia. Always has been, especially
you get
with
the
the V
bundle
collection.
deal.
So they're making each plugin quite expensive.
Okay,
It's kind of always been the pattern. That's always been their marketing strategy.
everyone's been screaming at me whilst I showed their website and says, log in, Ranz, log in. If you log in, it'll show the price they want to give it to you. I know, I was just showing what they were offering it to the Joe public who'd never used them before. Okay, I've logged in now. It's now gone from $199 down to $69. And I'd probably say to them, yeah, $69's not too bad. But why even show the $199 in the first place? I mean, that's ludicrous, isn't it? 69.
It's
well,
pricing,
when you click it, they encourage you to make an account, and then you log in, and then if you already have an account, then you get your price.
So that's definitely a marketing ploy, right? Because what is your brain doing if you don't really know what you?
It's price signaling. It's called.
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
You're trying to drive people's behavior using the prices.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's actually really cheap. I must rush and buy this. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's.
I'm still annoyed with making things something 99. Just round numbers are always great. But it's that stupid marketing bullshit at 99.
Someone invented it. I think it was Ford or someone invented it.
We didn't lie. It's under $100. It's $99.99. Shut up.
Kirby vacuum cleaners.
They've put people in MRIs and shown them one price and 1 cent less, and it really does make a difference to their MRI scans.
Man, that's terrible.
Look, I'm if Arturia watching, I know they get upset with me because I do punish them a bit. I love your stuff, Arturia. Don't worry, you're still in my love.
Well, not as bad as that one French guy. He's the worst one.
But I don't. Sorry, but I don't think SynthX-V is worth $69 either. It's just a single synth preset sound that you have in your synth collection. Really, that should be. If you look at other, synth VSTs that are out there, like the Yuhi, there's plenty, right? They have lots and lots and lots of sounds inside them. Okay, yeah, the interface doesn't change and looks like a SynthX. And
Yui's not cheap.
Yui's not cheap, but I'm just using it as an example because it's kind of got a lot of sounds in it, right? And it does have a lot of emulations in there as well. So, what do you guys think? Am I wrong? You can slap me if you want. Send me a slap. Um,
I'm throwing my synth at the screen right now. So.
Kosh Dukai's got a comment. Let's read his. Because he's actually flagged me, so we'll do the right thing by him. Where did it go? Why is it not showing up?
Oh.
Why can't I flag it? Hang on, wait. There it is. And let's wait half an hour for it to refresh, because Wags will still be there. Yep, of course it is. Let's wait half an hour for that to refresh. I'll read it anyway. It says, that's the price to the first customer, while others do exactly the opposite, ignore existing customers and only give discounts for their new customers. That's what he said. That's a pretty good point, I think. Oh, I like his point. It's a good point.
Yeah, no, I don't dislike the Arturia's, pricing system. There was another company that did very similar thing, Plugin Alliance, which I used to buy a lot of stuff from, and they very much had a, the more you bought, the better prices you got on the new stuff.
Yeah, which is rewarding loyalty.
Yeah. So I don't mind that model too much. That's a good thing. It's definitely to be commended.
Should we?
Yeah, no, this one's an odd one, isn't it? This plugin.
Yeah, because some companies don't have loyalty prices, which sucks.
It's like it's kind of ignoring the fact that it's been emulated very well by at least one other company who shall remain nameless, and only because I don't want to steal thunder from another show, but it's kind of like, I think we're in a slightly different world. I mean, like the world we were in when Arturia released a lot of their earlier models of vintage synths. The competition was much lower, and now I think we're in the age where the competition is higher, and therefore I think they should have changed their prices accordingly. That's pretty much my feeling.
I'm installing it while you guys are talking.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that you can at least say one good thing about it. Oh, that installed very easily and nothing went wrong.
Analogue is, right?
They're pretty good at this stuff.
I didn't pan it on.
They're pretty good at software. There's no doubt in my mind they're actually pretty good at software.
I am pretty impressed with that.
It's when you're buying like one synth like this that always seems to get the pricing. Like if you're buying something like Omnisphere, which is a huge thing, there's a load of depth to it, and then you get something like just a replication of a synth. It doesn't feel quite as though it's worth that much money.
Not value for money. The same value for money you get from some of these mega synths. Yeah. Like
well, even the old Origin they made was great with the different models in it, and back then the emulation wasn't as good, but it still was a lot of fun to use, and it sounded great. So they've been making good stuff for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Out of that. Yeah.
It's loading.
There
it is. Let's go into demo. Let's have a quick tour. Why not? You guys can watch this. Okay.
Oh, it's not speaking to us in an AI accent voice. Press the keys to...
Yeah. Pulse with pad. That wasn't that inspiring, was it? Where's the volume on this thing? Volume master.
It sounds like Miami Vice.
Oh, this is the vintage. Hang on. That's
bottom right hand.
Bottom right hand?
Not bottom right hand. It's up from the bottom right hand, isn't it? That one. No, I think that must be effects.
This is why you've got the tutorial.
I mean, it's basking in effects.
That's
isn't it?
The thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So we got to take all the effects off, right? Settings.
Chorus off.
Find the laser harp patch.
Does it actually have one?
Should.
Nope. Search for harp.
I think according to Kent, those presets run an EEPROM or something like that. So they're always there.
Unknown harp? It's a plucked key, so I doubt it's that.
Yeah, because the laser harp sound isn't very
4/6 ring mod could be, because that's a sync lead. and it is a sync sound.
Laser harp has an attack though. It is a bit attacky. Gotta go way low. That's basically it almost. So, yeah, that's it.
It's got that
Just gotta
chirping
hook up your laser and you're good to go.
I'm not going to copy the notes
He
exactly.
famously
guys.
didn't actually use the laser anymore after the too many embarrassing live shows where it didn't work properly.
Now all we need to do is that chorus. I can't even read that. Is that chorus on? I think it is. I think the chorus is on. All right, let's add some delay and shit into this, you know, to make it sound beefy. No, don't do that. Yep, bad luck.
Oh, but you see, you're using Ableton now.
I am.
Well, there we go. Everything's all. This is your synth. You can't have anything else like that. You've bought it to be like an original. You didn't have all that, so you can only play the synth.
Not bad.
No, Darren. He's just putting it into the mix delicately.
I just wanted to hear what it sounded like with reverb.
This is my whole point when you're trying to get something to, when you're buying something to be exactly sounding the same as something that years gone.
But you're not putting
It's
it
what
in
you do
effects,
with the
Darren.
sound afterwards.
You're not putting it in effects. You're just subtly putting it in the mix. Well, that is effects.
Well,
No, you're mixing
it's
it.
good to use
man.
Ableton. It makes it sound more analog, though. So
There's a Koshtuk guy was saying there's a whole bunch of effects built into it, and there they all are there. Into the advanced tab, you click on advanced. There's effects.
That's
You
a
can
lot.
add them all in here. None, add an effect.
This is why I always say don't get too hooked up over how close it sounds to an original or something, because
Yes,
what
it's
are you
funny,
using
isn't
the
it?
sound for half the time, or most of the time?
Yeah.
And most of the time it's for some music you're making, which it doesn't matter, does it? As long as it's
unless you're a cover
similar
band or
close,
something, you want
or
to
how
get close
how
to
you
it.
want it to sound.
I'm still
Yeah.
waiting for
But there you go.
Apple, Darren Apple, or someone like
Yeah.
Apple, Microsoft, to bring out multiple mouse so that I can tweak that knob
Ah, yes.
with a different-
multi-touch on your PC.
with another
yeah,
mouse,
or
and I
your
can
Mac.
tweak the other knob because I've got two hands and I can only tweak one knob at the same time. Yes, I can automate it. Of course, I know that. In my DAW, I can automate stuff, but that's not me tweaking it. That's a computer automating it.
Well,
No, you can do
I
the
thought-
OP1
I thought you
rubber
used to say
band trick.
about
You
that.
put rubber band across knobs and turn more than one at
Yeah.
a time.
I could map it to my MIDI controller. Yes, I know that. I could. But it doesn't look like this. My MIDI controller doesn't look like this. It looks like a MIDI controller. My eyes are like, hang on a minute, what? This is not a Synthex. This is an Akai MPK or a
Yes,
Roland.
doesn't quite work,
Yeah.
does it?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding, by the way.
Although the two mouse thing, has anyone tried that? I mean,
It's
in
bit of a
software?
joke. Bit of a joke.
well, two magic mice. Imagine that.
possibly is funny.
Put it into unison, says Kent.
Sounds like it. There you go.
It's pretty close, but I think you need to play with the envelope a little bit on it because it's not quite there with the envelope. Anyway,
You have to get on white gloves and pretend to play a laser.
Max like, any more news items? Yes, there are, buddy. Don't worry. We're not gonna. I'm with you, mate. This is
we'll
like
resume-
watching paint dry.
We shall perhaps resume this later.
I already just did. There's no effects. There's no effects on this at all. I mean,
Yeah, the original
it sounds ish.
Rendezvous is pretty dry. The Rendezvous track is fairly dry on that.
It sounds ish. You know, I'm okay with it. You know, there's another company that's had a Synthex VST out for years, and it's a French company actually called Zills Labs. So you know,
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything
They
wrong
make a
with
lot of
that.
cool stuff, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're done with the Synthex.
If they didn't
V.
make it look like the Synthex, if they didn't make it, if it didn't have a keyboard on it and it was just quite bland, would you still see the same thing? It'd still be worth as much. Exactly the same, but just forget the actual GUI.
Yeah, I don't really know. GUIs have never done. I actually feel a bit cheated by them, Darren, when I see them, because
Well, I mean, it's
just
it's showing like
it's teasing
they're
me.
basically, yeah, they're basically saying,
I like skeuomorphic
you
stuff,
can,
though. It's fun.
you can pick this. No, you can't touch the knob. You can't touch the knob. Oh, but it looks so much like I can. No, you can't touch it.
The worst,
Touch the knob.
The worst is
Chris,
original
touch the
CS80 had
knob.
the fans in it that never had fans before, the little spinning fans on the CS80.
Yeah.
That was great.
But it's mocking us, isn't it, guys? It's saying you guys can't afford a SynthX.
Pretty much.
I just want to grab that knob, but I have to grab the mouse. Oh.
Steve,
Not the
definitely
same.
agree with that comment, mate. The Polycobalt is a brilliant VST. I absolutely agree. It's got the best sounding square wave patch in there. It's about blows your. I've got the Yamaha HS8 monitors with the sub. Oh, you should hear that square wave on a bass note through my Yamaha natural sounding sub. It ain't natural sounding. It's window shattering. Don't tell
Get some
Rave
brown
about
notes out of
that.
that.
That's
Darren?
probably why the neighbours have moved out.
oh
now.
god, no, I'll be around there in 5 minutes.
That's why the neighbours
They'll be on
moved
his
out.
plane.
Yeah. All right, we move on. Because this show we're just doing the show just for Mac because you're getting pissed off. Right, we have this thing by forget who they're called actually. It says there, Larix Electro. This is the dual Undula Oscillator. Now this thing is for you guys who like FM. This thing will be right up your alley for two reasons. Number one is that this is a core sine wave oscillator, and then number two is it's analog. Oh, so why did he say if you like FM? Because FM doesn't have to be digital, does it?
No.
It's different when
It's
it's
not
analog.
operators. It's just a different kind of FM. Yeah.
There is a little video that we can watch actually for this. Where are we? That one there. It's not the greatest video explaining this product, but the sounds. I'm going to mute all of us guys so we can just hear the sounds. If you do like that sort of sine wave with wave folding type oscillator generating sort of thing, this is right up your alley. But yeah, there's a couple of other features that it does on top of that. So let's go to the vid and we'll mute us. There we go. The dual Undula Oscillator from Larix
cool,
Electro. Yeah. Who got the FM vibes?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
and the
I think I
stereo.
rang nasally for a while.
Yeah.
The FF stuff.
And then wave folding into some analog goodness there as well.
Yeah, ring mod, wave folding. Who doesn't like that? That's
Yeah.
great.
The ring mod sounded really nice, actually. What I liked about the ring mod is I think a lot of us have heard ring mods over the years that have been digitally created, and we're not hearing smooth transition between the different, ring mod sort of sidebands and carriers and stuff like that. So we're hearing, in this particular one, we're hearing some nice transitions.
Quite smooth.
But there was a few other tricks in it too that had where you could use one of the oscillators as a filter, which I thought was bizarre. I don't even know how the hell he's done that.
Yeah.
More information, probably need to read up about that. A decent amount of patches down the bottom, which I also liked how he's got it all down the bottom there and it's not getting in the way with anything.
Yeah, that's cool. When you can, it's great. Stereo sounded good. I had to pop over to the stream because I don't get stereo from vMix for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. I like the stereo.
The only negative side of this, guys, is the price. It is a pretty beefy
bad
size
side,
modular.
right?
It's $450 bucks.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just big.
Yeah, that's
Takes a lot of
sort
space.
of. It is in the sort of IntelliGel type area, isn't it? In terms
Yeah.
of hardware and the build quality.
I think though, from an oscillator with that particular sort of feature set, there's a fair bit in it to nerd out on, if that makes sense. So if it just had a couple of knobs on it and it was only 8 HP, I'd probably go, yeah, nah, this is not. But because of all the connectivity down it, that's why it's so big, by the way, with the connectivity down the bottom.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of feel like you need the space around. I feel like one of these modules is a performing type module. You're really wanting to use that folding knob quite a bit. So you need to get your hands in there. There's a bit of space around it for your fingers to get in there. Yeah, I really like this. This is actually a really good product, I feel. There's stuff out there that does this, like people are saying, oh, I've got a Buchla that does this. Well, yeah. How many modules in your Buchla system would do that?
It's $20,000.
Yeah.
Have you covered these guys before? Is this a new company?
I haven't covered them before, no. And I was just having a look on Modular Grid earlier
seen
today.
anything from before.
Yeah.
This might be their first.
Looks like a Mordor. This has that Mordor look to it.
Yeah. It does,
With
doesn't
the
it? The Mordor one,
white
yeah.
Knobs, the white capped knobs with the single slash, yeah.
A few people in chat are saying that they liked what they heard. Some people didn't like what they heard at the start, but then they kind of did like what they heard later on when it started getting gnarly, for example. Like Bert said, ooh, gnarly. A few people said that have I spelt it wrong, have I? Larix with an X. Okay, so it's Larix with an X, not Larix with a K. There we go. I'll probably just typoed it. You know what? You know how quickly I do prepare for this show?
Live updates.
I wonder if that actually will update. Look at that, it updated itself.
Well, it's funny because
that is insane.
It's funny 'cause
now
I
it
checked-
does what you say, yeah.
Google
when I
spreadsheet.
checked Twitch earlier, I took Ramzee with an M by accident, and there is a Ramzee on Twitch. So
Is that? Jeez.
yeah,
You got horns?
It's possibly a totally different channel.
yeah,
All
it
right.
could be only.
Who's buying this? Anyone?
No,
It's
space
the
for
price
it,
of
but
a
it's
move.
nice.
Yeah, good point. It is eurorack, so never say never. Maybe one day.
Probably want to tell you some things about this, right? So I said before it has two sine waves on it. On their website, they actually write it's got 2 sinus waves. I don't know if they've used Google Translate or if that's actually what they meant to actually say that.
They are sinusoidal waves, so
Yeah.
Okay.
In some cultures and technical
if
fields,
you're
they still
ESL or
use
maybe
sinus,
just
yeah,
whatever they.
instead
Okay,
of sine.
I'll give it to them. It's just funny
It's not
because
common, but-
my son's running around the house with hay fever at the moment, and it kind of struck a chord with me.
Yeah.
That's why I had the nasally said sinus waves.
Yeah, sinus waves.
Good point. Yeah.
But like I said before, these VCIs can work as a filter, which is I don't really understand that, and someone might want to explain that to me.
They don't say it's a filter, but it's an oscillator based on any particular chip in this. They're saying it's basically their own oscillator, or that would make sense that it can be a filter, because some oscillators are filters in a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
That's how some of them work.
Okay.
So turning it into a filter would be just cut out the feedback loop and then put the signal.
Let it go through. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense, because then it doesn't oscillate. Gotcha. Yep. 2 wave folders, obviously, we can see all that. There's VCA in between the wave folders, which you can see in the middle, which it's like visually. What I like is when things are explained and they're also visually there. So on the module, because that makes sense, right? You've got your wave folders on either side of the module and the VCA is in the middle of it, because that module can be a stereo module. So the VCAs need to be in the middle of it. Now, who is this person that's joined Britannica? Who's that? I hope it's not our friend.
They're probably doing a live thing from maybe it's Ian.
Could be.
Live from
Ian said didn't Ian say he might try and get? I don't know.
Okay, we'll see.
Makes sense.
Audio's on. We'll pop him up in the corner as we're talking. What else did I say?
Let's quit everything if it goes wrong.
The two VCAs that I was mentioning before also are bipolar, so they act in low res and they can be a ring modulator, as we saw in the video. And both VCIs can be used inside a mid-size converter. There's one LFO and there's one attack decay envelope in it, so it can be used as a single synth voice, which I actually didn't mind the sound of. I actually thought that was pretty cool. On the back, which they don't have a picture of, but there's access points to modify the routing or to hold more I/O, and there's things like critical through-hole capacitors and stuff like that. Anyway, whilst we've got these boys here, I might just quickly cross to them because they're here. Boys, I can't hear you, but your audio is turned on. We can't hear anything. We can see. Is that Ian? Yeah, we can see Ian.
Yeah, that's Ian.
Hi, Ian. Stop talking. Who are you talking to? Hi, Ian. How are you? We can't hear you, but you can hear us. Whoop.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. Now we've got sound, but now your video is paused.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bandwidth thing, yeah.
Right.
So it seems to be one or the other.
So you're in Bristol right now. So the audio is now not working.
Andy Brooks has just turned up here. You're live on Ranzee.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Andy.
You all right?
Yeah, we're good, Brooksy. Oh, lovely, mate. Good on you.
Splendid facial hair.
Reprobates here. You swap the camera in. How do you do that? I don't know. How do you do it? There we are. So, hi everyone on Ranzee. How are we all?
We're good. We can hear you nice and
Hey,
loud.
how are you doing?
Yeah,
Hi, Ian.
great, mate.
Cool.
Showing all the stuff behind.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, yes.
There's Keith.
You have a chat with him. There you go.
Entourage of enemies.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, yes.
Good. Because it is quite noisy. There's lots going on. It's really cool actually. You know, it's very different to Synthfest, and I'll give you a full report next week. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. We've got Robbie and Pete stuff.
Hey, Robbie. Hey, Keith.
I'll pass you back. Pass you back to Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Hi, Ranzee.
Hey.
Steve. I don't think, well, we won't have met or spoken, but I'm on Xorb on the chat. IIX.
Oh, g'day, mate.
We have, buddy, yeah.
All right.
Robbie's over there
Keith.
somewhere. Robbie.
He's with his emulator.
Demonstrating, yeah.
Tell Robbie missed an FM module.
Peter, thanks, Steve. And a few others.
It's
Hostage.
Is that an entourage of emulators?
There's a few people
What's
here.
the collective noun?
Yeah, so Robbie's showing off his different versions of the emulator, right? That's what he's got there?
All of them there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone.
Fantastic.
Dave Rossum's supposed to be next to him.
Pretty unique. Yeah. But obviously we're making a lot of noise, so we're going to jump out.
Yeah.
All right, enjoy yourselves, boys.
Yeah, thanks.
Catch you up next. See you next week.
See you guys.
Take
you,
care.
mate.
All the best.
Bye.
All right, there we go, and he's out already. He's out like an Australian batsman playing England. No, we should keep going. So we finished with this, haven't we? Finished with the Larix. Isn't Larix a character in a Dr. Seuss books? I think it is.
Lorax.
Oh, that's Lorax. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
close. We've still got a couple more to go. A couple more eurorack modules to go. I think this is the last eurorack module, by the way, though. You guys probably would have noticed the Sound Force Mod 6 coming out during the week, and I think Ben DivKid was doing the video on that. I think we'll scream through this a bit quicker than we normally would, but if you guys are wondering what this is, it's basically what you see. It's an envelope generator and an LFO, but it's got a bit more functionality to it. So it's a dual function modulation source. For those who like knowing about controllers that control things behind the scenes, this has got an STM32H743 microcontroller running it at 480 megahertz, which the reason why they mention that is because it is quite an overkill chip just to run
Even
a few
they-
basic modulation things.
And they scream Roland.
But I guess why they're saying that is maybe they're saying it because it might have some room for some future features on it, because it does have a few. It actually has a little screen on there, so there might be some menu options in that screen. You can notice there's a few push buttons down the side of the ADSR and also down the side of the LFO. So those will actually feature things inside. There's a rotary encoder underneath the screen. It has a whole bunch of parametric CV ranges from -10 to +10. It also has 4 time ranges on the envelope generator, including a custom user range. There is linear and exponential responses with an insensitivity control. There's a cycle inversion. You can either run it in ADSR or AD mode. There's this is what I like about this. There's a flexible end of output, so you can have EOA, EOD, or EOR on your envelope end. And there's an attack CV input, a decay CV input, 3 CV inputs that are assignable to either sustain, release, or the output amplitude, which is something handy. The LFO has 4 time ranges, including 1 custom user range. It is a Juno-style delay triggered by a trig input with a fade-in option. It is a morphing LFO. It is free running with sync and a tap LFO modes, and you can tap it through the button there. An extensive clock multiplier divider section in the sync mode from 1/64 up to time 64, so that's quite a bit of range there. And it's a rate ratio CV input. 5 inputs are assignable through the menu. Yeah, so
Looks pretty.
has a there's a photo on their webpage of the size of the CPU, and it has a massive CPU, and it actually I just thought it was interesting.
You mean just sheer number of pins? You mean?
Yeah, it's like they've mounted it sort of on a diagonal too, so it looks like a diamond.
Yeah. That's a bit of a tradition with Arduinos, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, 480
megahertz. For the
megahertz.
screen, you can use the knob.
Yeah. Look, I like the Soundforce stuff. I mean, obviously it's Roland-esque, you know, in their pursuit, but you know, who knows where this thing will go. And those people who like sliders will probably like this.
Yeah, sliders are always nice. I like them.
All right.
It's pretty looking module.
Next, price $299.
Yeah, it's not outrageous.
I mean, a few thoughts came to mind. The Batumi was one. The Clavis Quadigy was another.
Yeah, I was going to say anything with more than one envelope is going to kind of, for the use cases, is going to blow this out of the water.
Yeah.
So I think this is you know, the whole package would be the reason why you would choose something like this over those examples that you gave.
If you watch the Ben DivKid video, it'll make a bit more sense. But this is tuned more towards their other product range and the fact that they do Juno sort of stuff, and you know, it gives you that sort of Roland flavor. So I guess what they're sort of getting at is that there's different envelope types of, you know, out there from Roland, even in Roland world, and this gives it the flexibility to have one module that can chameleonize itself to different types of Roland envelopes. You know, that's a start anyway. What would have been nice though, like you said, Chris, is if this had multiple outputs. So if it wasn't just one ADSR, it was
it'd be
like
nice if
quad or something like that. You know, it does have a CPU in it, so
an
why can't
envelope
they?
selection would be, you know, which one would be the icing on the top, I guess.
Yeah. Perhaps maybe they might do that in the future. I don't know. All right, and last but not least, we're going to talk about this for Future Sound Systems Cric. Did anyone see this?
Yes.
Yeah. Pin Matrix. Hello.
Yes. Yes, I saw it, Rant.
Pins are taking off.
You only just saw it briefly. Yeah.
Yeah, I zoomed in on the lettering to see what was in the mod matrix. It seemed
You sunk my
well
battleship.
laid out and quite nice. But yeah,
Well, we talked
definitely.
about pin matrices before earlier when we were looking at the Analog Solutions, and how I said that there's a few people that are making them now that are out there.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see them, like Erica Synths have got something with the pin matrix in it. Anyway, these guys, this is not their first suck at the salve with pin matrix. So Future Sound Systems are in the eurorack world. So this is their first desktop, not their first desktop. I shouldn't say it's their first desktop. They have a few standalone products, I should say. But this is their first kind of complete package would be a better way of saying it. And the reason why I kind of feel they've gotten here, if you actually went to their website and looked at their modular and the history, they've gone from a pin matrix standalone box thing that you could use to route modulating sources through guitar CV type inputs, to modular, to single sort of synth voices, to standalone synths, to this. So they've basically got, okay, we can put that and that together, and now we've got the Cric. And this is going to be £2,500, so it's about $5,000 Australian. But it is about the same price as the Erica Synth one, if you're wondering, Chris. So it's, you know,
I thought it was in the same ballpark as a lot of these complete synths.
What is interesting though is they're calling the main oscillator a scissor, and the other two complementary oscillators DNAs.
Yeah, it's really odd.
It is.
I don't know what that was. That confused me.
I don't know what it means either. We need more information about it.
More
obviously.
information. They'll explain it to us eventually, I hope.
It is a subtractive synth though, that I can work out anyway.
they've talked about, I think that with respect to the oscillators, they say, it borrows from this particular module. I think that's where I was.
The previous modules that they made, yeah.
For the oscillator, and I think this might be the one that it's an oscillator that takes two waveforms and selects different parts of them dynamically. Or
They're
something.
SSIs. They're 2130 ones.
Okay.
So they're a chip.
Yeah, I think I think it does something with the multiple waveform outputs to combine them into one waveform that's different from normal. I think that's their point of difference on the module that they referred to. Just when I was researching. As I said, I've only looked at it a little bit further than you, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, if I was to say, look at this in just with a really quick, without reading their website, look over the panel, pin matrix, 3 oscillators, this is a VCS3.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's straight
Does
away.
it have a spring reverb inside?
I mean, no, but it's got, from what I can see, it's got 2 envelope generators. It might actually have more because it might actually have more than 2. It's got a 18 decibel SSI based state mixable analog filter with wave folding. It has 2 SSI based VCAs, sample and hold, and function generators. There's 4 of them offering AD and so there you go. It does have more than 2 envelope generators. So it has function generators offering AD and ASD envelope configurations and cycle mode, which probably means this could probably do a trapezoid, right?
Just add your planar 2 to it, and you got your joystick that you need.
Well, it does have slope and pulse sources on the mod matrix. 24 by 32 destinations on that, by the way. If you're trying to work it out on your screen, if you said that, you're correct. There is 4 DC coupled inputs and outputs for multi-channels and audio and CV use. And there's also a mic preamp. So...
Bit of an ears or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's for.
Cool.
Steel case.
Very rugged.
Mural-clad Hymax end cheeks with hand assembly. So £2,500. Look, it's along the same price. If you were to buy a VCS3, you're looking at 4,000. I think it might even be more than that now, pounds. So it's cheaper than the VCS3. It's smaller than one as well. Probably doesn't quite do everything the VCS3 does, like you said, spring reverb. Andy,
add a few more letters, you can call it Crikey.
Crikey. Who likes the colours of this? I've never seen this colour on a synth.
Dreadbox have done something in this colour.
This colour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the knobs as well?
My Udemina is that colour.
Right.
It's a little more pale than the Blue Marvin, but it's heading towards
mixer
that.
filter. Yep, it's definitely the same blue and white lettering.
15k Wagyu. Jeez, what's happening? They're like
hang on, it's too early for price check.
paying off a mortgage on an island in the Bahamas. I like the sort of different color knobs. I think it looks good. I don't know. I just liked this. I thought it kind of looked inviting to me, and I liked how the matrice was that really bold
dark color
as well. It just said, "I go here." That's what it said to me. It said, "Go straight to this thing and start plugging things into it."
Play with me.
Yeah.
Play with me, please. Yeah. Cool. It's like a puppy.
I want to hear it. So don't announce stuff, and let me hear it.
Yeah.
There is some
not even
sound
a crappy
bites.
video, not one.
No, I can give you this. I can give you some sound bites from
Oh, there you go.
SoundCloud. Let's not do drums, shall we?
It's got interesting.
Does it have effects on it?
Sounded like
I didn't read anywhere it had effects on it. So they've added the drums and the effects in. Please, guys, why are we doing that?
Unless it was drums made by...
I should tell you in the notes there.
Effects on this as well.
Yeah, it is spring reverb or plate.
There's no reverb on it. There we go. That's the Cric from Future Sound Systems. Who wants to buy one?
Effects make every synth great, well, apart from Timberwolf. But
In fairness, it was down.
Daren.
Makes
I mean, even the CS80 needs effects. So.
Stolen right out of my brain, Daren.
it is. It's just so true. I mean, really,
It
we should
is.
be looking at more effects units, really, because that's what makes all these sound so great.
Yeah. Name that synth through a big sky.
Yeah.
We should do it.
Yeah.
See how everyone gets it wrong.
0% dry, 100% wet.
Yeah, well, it goes to the
100% wet.
SoundCloud. It was through Valhalla reverb. So
The notes say that. Okay, cool.
Decay time,
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Why though, Wagoo? You agree? Why? We want to hear it. We don't want to hear your stupid.
you need both dry
Yeah.
and effects.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, best of luck to these guys because it looks to me like a labour of love and a lot of hard work's gone into it, and I do wish them all the best. I do like this sort of style. But we finished the news this week. There was a lot, wasn't there, this week? A lot of news. I think there was something like
Yeah, it's
8
busy,
products if you include the Bob Moog raffle. 7 products without it. What would you buy this week? I think most of us are going to say Ableton Move, right?
Well, I am.
Yes. But at 740, it's kind of, that's the closest thing to our...
Don't think many are going to say
to the
Analog
credit
Solutions.
card. No, it's,
Well, it's
Saving
not
up
just
for it.
buying it; you
doesn't-
have room
doesn't
for
do,
it.
do it for me like it does.
Yeah,
for you
exactly.
guys. I don't know.
I don't think it'd fit in
It's
here.
furniture.
Cricky. Future Sound
Plus,
Systems.
don't you
Cric.
remember? It's got too many holes in it for some people.
Too many
Yeah,
holes?
you got trypophobia.
Actually, I wouldn't
looking
mind
at
that
that thing.
oscillator.
Yeah,
We've had an episode on trypophobia. We're not going to do that again.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put that one in the background of your studio.
Good FM.
Even
oscillator.
Swiss cheese will freak some people out. So
Mint choc chip. Yeah, there you go. It does look a bit like a mint choc chip sort
Oh,
of.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah. I remember there was a certain brand of ice cream that you could get.
Ooh, yes. There's definitely you could get drumsticks or something like
Yeah.
that in choc mint.
Yep.
flavour.
actually, Swenson's ice cream used to have a bubblegum flavor ice cream, and that was the color of the ice cream, and then the little multicolored bubblegum balls were in it.
By the way, I should probably check to see if Twitch is still streaming. I think it is. Yep, still says it's streaming. People on Twitch, let us know if you're still seeing everything on Twitch. Almost forgot about that, didn't I?
Still says live, yeah.
Yeah,
They'll be
I
starting
did
to
mention the
play
price,
more
Bert. It's £2,500, 2,499 British pounds. I think he's making them, to order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to go and check out some used gear now?
yet.
Starting with a bit of, we were talking about EMS before with the VCS3. You can get yourself a DK1 Cricklewood. I'm sure there was a joke just in chat. Howard Scar, there you go. You mentioned Cricklewood. Did you know about what I was about to show on this show? Here we go. This is the this is the Cricklewood.
He's in the future.
Yeah. But how rare are these things? This is about £3,500 with some insane amount of shipping because it is based in
Japan,
OR. What's OR in the US?
Oregon?
OR. Oregon. Oh, it's just up the road.
Oh, one whole state away.
Yeah. Just up the road from Andy.
One long drive. I've driven up there before. So it's a long drive.
It is on Reverb. It's a live auction at the moment. And by the way, all these price watch things that you see are going to be in the blog article. You can click on the links and check them out during the week. When you're bored at work, you can sneak in and do that. Let's have a look because we can see some more pictures then. Why not? Why not look at 1970s wood with some electronics in it and pay £3,500 for it?
So the British folks in the chat, is Cricklewood a region or someone's name, you think, or a type of
It was
wood,
actually a region.
What is Cricklewood?
If I remember
region?
rightly,
Okay.
it was a region, yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, guys,
Yep.
who are from the UK, but I'm pretty sure it's a
Analogue.
region.
Seems to confirm that it's a region or a suburb.
What's the guy's name that invented this, designed this?
Oh,
What's his name again? Actually says it on here.
Zinoviev?
No. David Cockerell.
Cockerell? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
David Cockerell.
So there, you can get yourself an EMS DK1, the Cricklewood. Not bad, eh? Definitely not scammy at all. That would probably be what you'd expect to pay for something, considering everything, considering that is. Right, next. I mentioned these things probably too many times, but they are still getting themselves out there, and I thought it's probably about time we showed how much these things are selling for on eBay and Reverb and places like that. I thought, apart from the, I thought $400 is not bad actually. It's about $400.
It's holding its value.
Yeah.
It's not
They
like
came and
half,
went,
but-
right?
They came
didn't
and they
last
went.
very long.
Yeah. So let's have a quick look at the auction. There's two photos. There's this one
I'd like to get a scooper, but they're not very common.
and that one, just in case you didn't quite see the angle. Yep. That's making a hell of a difference when you take two photos of the front of it. Idiots.
I took it from two different angles. No,
What's
you need to
in
take
its
it
little
from different
standalone case?
positions.
It's like-
I took that
Done.
angle and that angle. Yeah, go 2 angles. I gave you how many? I can give you more angles if you want. How about that? How about that?
This is in Housse, by the way. Hello to all the people watching from Housse in the UK. Don't know what the postage is. Here we go.
Wasn't the whole thing about these
$30
modules though was that they could each be every other module?
Not quite.
Not quite.
That was the disappointment, I think. Because I mean, technically, with all the
compromises.
knobs in a similar sort of spot,
Exactly the same.
their
spot,
main
didn't they?
feature can't be. That's why they want you to buy them, right? So they did it on purpose. Otherwise, people would only buy one, right?
Yeah, I did wonder.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What is that stupid message? Go away. No. Okay. Right, next one. The OB12. Hurrah!
Oh.
Who watched the video this week from the Synth Wizards with Dave Smith on it? Nice big long interview with Dave
My
Smith.
list. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Definitely worth watching. A big shout out to the
Give us a link.
Syntor guys because they did an excellent job with that. It was actually, what was good about it is they showed the raw interview. So if you watch Synth Wizards, they didn't show the raw interview in that, but if you go to their YouTube channel, you can actually watch the full raw uncut, you know, where Dave's actually saying to them, I don't know if I really answered that question that well. No, it'll do. Okay, cool. Let's move on. It was so good. It was just like him being natural, and it was just really nice to watch. And
He was a nice
I
guy.
thought he's a nice guy. He was a nice guy. Oberheim OB12. with the Z Domain Blue. This one's in Japan for $3,810.
Yeah, they're incredibly sturdy.
Getting late here.
Great case.
Yes. That's not the best photo ever, but keep going. There you go. Who has an OB12?
I do.
Yeah?
Cool.
It's quite fun, yeah. A lot of people hate them because, it's not real Oberheim.
Well, it's digital.
Because it's Viscount, right?
Yeah.
Viscount put it out.
Yeah.
But it's a VA, and it's funky. It does some really cool, fun stuff. I know Wagyu has one too.
But the thing about it is, there's a hell of a lot of knobs and sliders on it. So they've mapped the absolute living bejesus out of this thing. You know, it's very little menu diving on it. Very little.
Mine has a screen issue. It's starting to taper off, so it's readable, but it's starting to get darker on one side. So I need to replace it. But it's fun.
Cheers.
Although they have a known issue of distorting on the outputs. If you push it, you got to be careful with your settings. You can over distort it just on the outputs.
And I think there's two more things to show. There's the Mini Moog, because we showed the Mini Moog as something that's going for an auction at the moment. And I just wanted to show this because I thought, okay, so Moog, Bob Moog Foundation, I know it's a Peter Gabriel one, right? This is one here for 2,000 US, and it's a 1973 vintage. I think it's got the serial number on here somewhere. So there you go. Without the Peter Gabriel signature, you can save yourself $5,500.
Yeah. I'd say it's starting really cheap. It's not going to stay there, but
it's got the original case, which is actually pretty
I'm sure
cool.
the bids will go way up. Because I usually see like 3,000, 4,000, you know.
Maybe.
It's rare for them to go below, at least around here.
I have seen them go for, if there's just no interest, it'll just go. If he hasn't set a reserve, they'll just go for whatever price it is. But that's what you'd expect for a 1973 synth, and that's actually pretty good condition considering.
I would get it for $2,000 if I had the money. It's a great price.
I'd pay $2,000 for that. And the original case, there's the serial number there, 4100. 4100. Wow, it's a good serial number, that one. Really good one. I mean, that's easy fixed. 2 seconds to fix that. Don't be scared of fixing frayed cords, guys.
Afraid not.
Haha. Doing the jokes today, mate. All right, and there's one more thing, I think, and that is I promised at the start of the show that we bring up this, and that is the SH5. Yep. So that's how much they cost if you buy them. That's Australian dollars, by the way. So halve it for your pounds. 3,000. What is it? 3,250 pounds. This one's in California. Yeah. So why did I bring up this? I thought this is what, for people who don't remember what a SH5 looks like, this is what they look like. There it is there with the quite a thick sort of top end to it, and the keyboard's kind of flat down the bottom, which I just always thought they've always looked peculiar to me.
Odd proportions.
Yeah. Almost like you kind of feel like that keyboard should fold in and do you know what I mean?
You want to push it in or pull it out like a drum.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to show that, and the reason I wanted to show that is because obviously right now we can get delivery of the Behringer MS5. All right, and the Behringer MS5, from what a lot of people are telling me, actually is a pretty decent remake of this thing, and that's what that looks like. So Looks like a little bit like a large version of a Roland Boutique, in a sense.
It looks like the K25.
Yeah, the K25 keyboard.
Yeah.
But in a way, I actually don't even mind the look of this. I actually think they've done a pretty good job.
It's one of the better looking ones. So absolutely, it's very tempting.
But the question that I think I got asked earlier in the show is, what does that sound like? Should I get one of those instead of an Ableton Move? My answer was do both. You could sample this thing into your Ableton Move, and this doesn't have presets on it.
Take it on the go with you.
Yeah. But a lot of people that I know that have bought one of these have been really impressed. So if that's anything to go by, go try one out in the shop before you buy it. But I mean, it's less than, what is it, $600 or something US to buy one of these things. $6,000 to buy an SH5 Australian, or $1,000 I think it is to buy an MS5 in Australia. So what is that? 1/6 of the price. If we
it's not much more than the small Behringer modules like the K2 and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I think I guess the first thing that you'd want to check out is, does the filter sound like an SH5? And apparently it does. So the first thing I'll be doing is comparing it to my Roland System 500 module, but I don't actually have an SH5 here, so who knows? But yeah. But that's the price watch for this week. Any favourites? To remind you, we had the Cricklewood, the Roland Torpedo, the Oberheim OB12, the vintage 1973 Mini Moog, and the SH5.
It'd have to be the Mini Moog, especially that price, if it doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite cheap for what it is. In this day
It's
and
got to
age.
go up, though.
It's a reminder of how great it was for something seemingly so simple in service.
Wags, I thought that'd be the case, mate. So AM Synth's version of the SH5 filter is better, eh?
Or the G-Storm, okay.
The 8005 module. Does he still sell it?
I'm sure he sells it, but it's just not in stock.
It's a diode
Apparently that's
multi-mode
different.
VCF. SH5, mixer, envelopes, filters. Notify me when it's back in stock. Yeah, no, can't get it. Would he make it if I clicked buy now on that? It's only £150. Make him make one. Come on,
Made to
Rob.
order, yeah.
Get your soldering iron out.
If there ain't no button to click, there ain't no button to click.
You can pay him. You literally
what
can
he
add
said-
it
Chris,
to
would you
cart.
make to order, or you
can,
just want to
but-
have a stock of stuff?
You could just send him money. Take my money
Just take my money for shits and gigs.
when you get time. No pressure. Well, you were going to send him your credit card. That wasn't going to end well.
The G-Storm Electro one is what Wigoo's saying is still in stock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we showed it a while ago. Wigoo, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if we showed it on the show and you went and bought it afterwards.
They make good stuff. G-Storm Electro
That's
makes good
his
stuff.
right.
Not their blog spot. Where is it? G-Storm Electro SH5. Oh, that's right. These guys sell it through Reverb.
Yeah, G-Storm. Do. Yeah.
There it is there.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's the same price as a Roland System 500 module.
Right.
So don't be too concerned about the price there, Chris, because that's how much. I think the Roland ones are about 500 and something bucks.
Yeah, no, that's what a price I would expect to pay.
So what the classic Roland System 500 is
quite a
supposed to be
wide
like the SH5, but the reissue is not.
According to Wags.
Yeah.
Yep.
So even Roland screws up like that. Huh?
Well, I mean, it's a Meleco, isn't it? But the thing is that
Oh,
Roland.
right, okay.
I was under the impression that Meleco were given the circuits by Roland, and that Meleco were doing the production and assembly, right? So, to what level did Meleco make the whole thing from scratch based on PCB designs, or did Roland say,
Yes.
here's some PCBs that we've made in our factory, and put them in your module and ship them? I don't know.
Might have been just reference.
Yeah.
We'll make the decisions. You give us the source material, but we make.
Because Meleco makes some good stuff. I have some other stuff.
Well, they were tooled to do it, right? So that's the thing.
Yeah.
They got chosen because they were tooled to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for all the regular segments. We don't have a Name That Synth. We've been blessed with a couple lately, but it'd be nice for someone to do another one. That'd be cool. I do know that Tristan, I don't know if he's probably not watching, he's probably watching on the replay. But the prize from Plugin Guru,
Skippy.
Skippy, has gone through to him already. So if there's been anyone that's not got theirs yet, can you guys let me know? Because just want to double check. There's no real way.
Mine took a while when I got it a long time ago, but I still haven't used the software. I gotta install it.
Yeah. There's really not a lot for me to check, right? Also wanted to mention that if I go back to, where's my little Twitch thing? What happened to my little Twitch thing? I used to have a different layout. It said no. I wanted to go back to my Twitch layout, which had activity on it. There we go. Stream manager. Edit layout. I need to add something in. Here we go. Activity feed. Where can we put that? There. Oh, it's not showing it. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys.
Twitch Studio, or are you using through another interface?
No, that's just through Twitch website studio thing. I just wanted to mention that Wigoo put 6.90 CHF through the Streamlabs thing. So big thank you to Wigoo for that. But what I need to work out how to do, and I'll do this during the week, is the so you guys watching Twitch, are the messages popping up when you guys are doing the donations? Are they popping up on Twitch? Because I'll need to go back and watch that, but just out of curiosity, there's been two. One went through from JP Page 2. It should automatically pop up with a little animation. It doesn't do it on YouTube, it only does it on Twitch. It's a Twitch feature. So it's a let me say, it's a little childish. Like, it's the younger generation like this sort of stuff. they like all that sort of fancy, look at me, I'm doing this, that sort of stuff. But there's got to be a way I can translate all this and bring it through to YouTube as well, because I've got Streamlabs, the actual desktop software now, and there's a lot of configuring that I haven't yet done in this thing. I can show you.
I don't see it in the chat history unless it pops up. Maybe it's a pop-up, but it's not in the chat history.
So that's the Streamlabs. That's the Streamlabs app there, right? Running. and you can see there's the Twitch chat there, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do on the left hand side. So it's interesting anyway.
Oh, yeah, you can see how it's related, branched from OBS. Looks very similar to my OBS.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
more streamlined and sort of more Abletonized with a sort of cleaner sort of interface.
Yeah, well, there's
But very
OBS.
colourful at the same time.
There's OBS running.
Yeah.
Infinity and beyond. Yeah.
It's always fun.
So, I want to sink my teeth into this VST topic, because you probably noticed during the showing of the SynthX-V from Arturia that I was giving Arturia a bit of a slap about it, but not so much. It's not really their fault. That's their business model. Good luck to them. People buy it. All the best. No problems there. But honestly, how close are these things to the real deal? We were listening to that laser harp sound before. How did you feel that sounded? Was that?
It's pretty damn close, yeah.
Oh, the
Especially when turning
demo's
unison
timed
on.
out now, is it? Yeah, the demo's timed out. That's good. Arturia, refresh.
I mean, this is the same old thing, right? You take 2 or 3 real mini Moogs, they're not going to sound the same either. So to say something nailed something, it's never going to ever, if it's analog, it's never going to totally nail something because of variation. But you get a vibe,
It's the,
frequency response, like that.
it's the definitive test really these days to, compare the preset from one unit to another, or is it something that really does require more microscope type focus?
Because the scopes will show you one thing, your ears tell you another thing.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I don't mean that kind of. I mean literally not microscope. I meant by actually taking the filter through a complete sweep with a particular set of
Yeah.
settings, and then take another one with a different.
But they
set
get
of
a copyright
settings.
claim on YouTube because the filter sweep.
Yeah, I just meant what lengths do you go to? I mean, it seems on the surface that playing a well-known preset, comparing one against the other, seems like a very quick, way of instantly deciding whether it's close or not. But of course, a single preset doesn't use every single aspect of the synth
No.
that would have an impact.
Well,
on
like
that.
Kent was doing the CS80 testing from Arturia compared to his real CS80, and he had to dial in a bunch of stuff to make it sound like the CS80 right next to him. But then he goes to another preset, and it's like way off, and then he has to dial it in again. So it's just it's kind of crazy.
Plus, it depends on your hearing as well. We all forget that we're the ones hearing
that's
it, so everyone hears differently as well as it's sounding it.
How it sounds to the internet, if you're doing this demos. And
If your ears are any good as well, like if you've lost some hearing in one ear.
yeah,
I only get 20 minutes on this thing, so
So it's a bit like Zoom.
that
2 hours.
sounds like it though.
I thought it kind of went up a bit. Yeah. Which one's got the?
I mean, he supposedly used a preset, but he probably did tweak it a little bit, right,
Yeah.
on the album.
It's the Paul Weapon preset, isn't it? Right? If I'm right,
I don't remember.
I think it's Paul Weapons. The laser harp preset. But yeah, anyway. Look, I'm a hardware guy. I don't mind software synths for various
Really? Couldn't
duties.
tell with all the background there.
That's just hey,
Bombshell,
have you
people.
not worked it out?
Wallpaper.
Henrik had the same image
Jeez.
when he was on the stream. This is just
That's
Ah,
right.
right.
Wallpaper.
You're all in the box.
yeah, this is just a fake background that we've got. No, I'm just
He's
kidding.
been lying to us all these years.
Troll.
No, because you have blinky lights back there. I see blinky lights. It's not. a
Oh yeah,
static
I've
image.
got the expensive version, the
So
animated
it's just
version.
CGI.
Yeah.
It's just CGI. It's just fake.
Where was I going? You guys are trying to derail me on my point. the point of why you would get a software synth like the SynthX-V is I don't really get it. Why do we want the SynthX-V as a software synth when really in real situations you'd want to be able to have hands on all those knobs and buttons and sliders that are on that thing and play it, right? And you can't do that in a software synth. And on top of that, it's not really a true rendition because it's a digital emulation, you know. But there's people out there that would probably disagree with me, right? I'm sure there are.
Same reason I have Moog Modular on my phone. I can't afford a Moog Modular.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, you can't carry it everywhere you go when you want to.
I don't have the room for it. I don't have the money for it, and it's close enough. So.
It's true that you'd get something like this because you like the sound of it, and it's not far off. I mean, I'll give them that. It's not far off. It has a likeness to it. I've heard of SynthX in real life. Who's heard of SynthX in real life? Honestly. Yeah, I have.
I don't think I have it. By the time I heard Jean in concert, he wasn't carrying that stuff around. So
I've only heard one played on an Alex Ball video.
There's three Elkas that I've heard in real life. I mean, technically one was an ARP, a Selena, right? Technically, but the three that I've heard in real life, one was years ago in the 80s, and Chris will know this. There's a band called Split Ends used to use an Elka to do their string sounds, which is probably an ARP, Selena. And
I heard they were a hard act to follow.
Gee, that's an old song. And then I've heard an Elka SynthX more recently, and I've heard it a few times. I've got people that I know that have got them, and the other one is the Eminent organ, right? I've heard that in real life as well. So, and that was at a Jean-Michel Jarre concert. So you can't really beat that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like you have an affinity with these products, and then you rush out and buy the VST version of it because you think, I get to play with it. I get to try out some different sounds, and it's only going to cost me $69. It's not too bad. It's worth it. I'll do it. Are you guys down that path? Is that the logic? Is that why you're doing it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. In the past, I've done that. As I said, and it's literally my memory of going, yes, I definitely downloaded it, played with it, and never used it again. Definitely in that category. I do that less these days.
But yeah, if you're buying it,
But if you're in a cover band, you need to nail it. You want to get the sound, right? So.
Yeah, I think for general studio music production, for people like me, I'm not. I won't say a purist. I mean, it's I don't need the synth just in my studio to listen to the pure synth itself. Because by the time I've finished doing what I'm doing with my type of music, you'd probably never tell which synth I was using half the time anyway. So I'm not a purist in that sense.
Yeah,
mess about with it. Even as you were saying, Chris, even when you start putting some effects on it that are not part of the original synth, so you start to lose that pure sound of that synth anyway. So it's at what point, if it's to just if you want that pure sound to sit in your own music, then it depends on your music you're playing, because you're not going to hear that pure sound. You can hear it off of VST to a degree. If you want that pure sound, and you just I don't know, even just creating that pure sound, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Go on, Chris.
if it's like if it's a bit like what Ranzee was saying, where you need if you need that sound, you need that experience. Surely the hardware is necessary to that whole psychology. So I would dare say most people would be in the camp of I need the hardware, or I don't need the hardware at all. I just want that particular sound that was used in that particular track at that particular time. I'm happy to put effects on it, and I'll still say, yes, it's only that good because it was originally sounded that way to begin with. I mean, how often do we hear the mantra, get it right in the mix before you put the effects on it. You know, that was the old sort of oft repeated advice is, you need something with the right source sound before you can really
Unless that's a core part of the sound with the effects, like access virus sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, and as we get further and further into history, there's more and more stuff like that, which was, the effects were embedded in the programs themselves.
Yeah.
That sort of theory becomes a bit less, doesn't hold up as well. That's what I'm saying. But it is often repeated, isn't it? It's the old, I wanted the original synth because it had that particular, it was just, when you had it in the studio and you turned up the monitors, it was just, you had that, presence that none of the other synths did. And then we put it through some EQ and removed all the bottom end of it. Hang on, whoa.
And you MP3 it, and that's really screwed.
Oh, but it's still there. It's all, the vibe's still there. I'm not convinced that it is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're only ever going to get that vibe when you're actually sat with the actual
exactly.
synth
with the actual hardware. But I mean,
that's where
I
see the point in having it.
There's probably some people out there who don't need, who are in that little niche where they get the same thrill out of owning all the VSTs of these wonderful synths, and it gives them the same satisfaction. Power to them. But
do you think there's a point where they start to sound the same though?
What, VSTs specifically, or just synths in general?
VSTs.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's a good question. I mean, there certainly was. It has been. Several people have said that over the years, haven't they? They've said, all my VSTs kind of had the same. They seem to have the same kind of vibe, and I no longer, I'll only keep 2 or 3 of them that sound a little bit different from each other. But there's so many of them that sounded the same. And whether it's the same with hardware, perhaps people have said the same thing with hardware.
Is it
But I have heard that said.
Is it the sound interface device that they've got that's causing that, or is it the actual VSTs really aren't truly, producing the true sound of these originals?
Or is it to do with the way we audition them in that time period? So a particular vintage of DACs, a particular vintage of technology.
Yep. Well, they're supposed to emulate them, aren't they? I mean, read the marketing.
And of course, yes, I know. And of course, the whole thing. That's a good point. That's a good point, Rance. The whole sort of if you get a VST that was designed in a certain year with on certain pieces of hardware that were out or certain computers that were out at a certain time, and then you go 10 years into the future, how can you expect it to sound exactly the same as when they originally designed it and tweaked it and made it just right, if the hardware 10 years later is completely different silicon?
Well, the resistor values change in the old hardware and stuff. Yeah.
Let's just have a look at the video again that we showed earlier. So read that second line. The Arturia SynthX-V is a multi-timbral analog synthesizer.
This is what's getting Ranz, isn't it?
This is what's pissing Ranz off.
Yeah.
This is the main gripe. The word analog on a
nowhere does it say plugin or VST.
Yeah.
Or software.
Yeah.
I'll show you something else, right?
On the edge, isn't it?
Look at the visuals here. Let's just go to the next bit. There we go. So what's that visual of there?
That's a full-on render. So
that is not anything like what you're getting.
Plug-in.
Right. Let's go back to us, and then let's go back to our plugin, and let's go back to the plugin, and that's what I get. Where do I see that 3-dimensional view? Hang on, I'm trying to find it. It's not there.
Yeah, but you see, that's the other thing, isn't it? For people like us, for people who know what, for people who know what a VST is, then you don't expect
all over again.
anything that show. It's for people. It's just to give you that awe of.
No, but it's a piss take. That's where I'm coming from. It's not a scam.
But
it's a piss take.
That from the early VSTs when they tried to
look at it this way. Look at the Kemper profiler. A guitar player using a Kemper profiler is using emulated effects and distortions and everything. Are you going to say that's any less valid than a guy with a bunch of old stomp boxes? When you hear the music, can you tell the difference?
Yeah, this exactly.
So it's
All
just
right.
the way things are going now. Yeah, the verbiage is
Mm.
cheesy. They're not being totally honest, but it's also for your computer. So of course it's not a real instrument. Of course it's not. It's got to be a VST
Yeah.
because it says it's downloaded for your computer.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd
You're not
argue that,
loading
you
up
know,
assuming that you're getting the real. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
you're not
there
getting a
is few
shipping box
people
to
who
your
are,
house. You're getting.
Yes.
but- No.
Yes. I think they'd
But-
say they're having a
But
conversation. with their
subliminally,
audience.
right? The marketing is
Yeah, but you're,
tapping into our
but that
romantic
don't-
side.
nostalgia and yeah.
It's true, but they'd probably say that it's not their intention. Their intention is to communicate with their, you know, legions of fans who are fully aware of what their technology is and how it works.
Mhm.
And they know that when you're talking about an analog synthesizer, they're talking about the virtual analog synthesizer as recreated by Arturia. And they're just having an honest conversation, and they're not trying to mislead anyone because, you know, and you know we've had this technology for long enough now that you don't have to keep on reiterating that it's not a physical object, and you know we're in the world of the metaverse, and you know everyone understands the difference between virtual reality and reality, and how the lines are blurring and things are getting closer, and you know you could argue that it's, you know,
Because
it's
even
okay,
over a
but yes,
decade
it
ago,
is-
the
it is
old
that
TAE
line.
versions
Yes.
they had, they weren't that realistic. But again, they're still fun to use, and they're still valid, I think.
But
And
should
so-
they
that doesn't
should
sound
they
like a
be
top
showing them
five,
like?
But it was fun.
They shouldn't be. In my opinion, they shouldn't be showing these things like a hardware.
Well, the
Synths.
render is funny, yeah.
Yeah,
But a lot of companies do that, not just Arturia. So
yes,
because I
But
mean,
there's
I,
usually
I remember in
in-
the early.
but there's usually a little kind
I
of
remember
pop
in
out
the early
line
days.
somewhere.
Sorry.
This one's
I remember in
interesting
the early
because
days
they
when they
have.
started rendering these VSTs like that.
yeah.
And I thought it was a real synth at first. Is that what you mean? Because I thought, oh, have they
Yeah.
released a synth?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
as
Like Core Gadget. Do you
whatever.
remember when Core Gadget first came out? And they were doing
yeah.
these little
Do you remember
renders.
Tone 2
Yeah.
Gladiator? You ever used Tone 2 Gladiator? It was a beautiful render. It looks like a real synth, the lights and everything. And
Yeah.
it was a stupid VST. I
Yeah,
mean, it
someone
sounded good,
make it.
but it was
Someone
fully
make it.
rendered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we got a
Yeah.
question that's
and you
popped
actually
in.
want them to release that synth.
So Sophie Music has said, where is the line between hardware circuitry and code? I mean, that's almost like a little bit of a pun there with the line between circuitry and a code.
Where do you draw the line? Or
Where do you draw
Well,
the
with
line?
Iridium and Quantum, it's very blurred, right? Or Harmon Neuron. It's
Well,
all code.
circuitry is there's different types of electronic circuits. If you ever study electronic engineering, you'll know that there's digital circuits and there's analog circuits, and they are completely fundamentally different in their design. You know, you can actually design analog circuits to function like a digital circuit with logic circuits, but they are insanely complex because you're having to
Yeah.
program
Those old analog computers.
gates
nuts.
and logics and so you can do it, but there's definitely lines that can be crossed between the two.
there's overlaps.
Yeah, but
It's a very, very sliding kind of scale.
personally, I feel if you were to ask that, Sam, we'll just pop that question up again. I feel if you were to ask that question, the line between digital circuitry and code is quite blurred at times, because if you've got things like FPGAs or DSP chips, they are actually
Computer
they're programmed.
emulation of digital is much smaller distance between them. The distance between analog circuitry and computer simulation is much wider.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of off on a little tangent to what we were talking about, but I feel there is definitely a line between analog circuits and code for sure. There is definitely a line. And that I feel that line is getting very, very closer to each other as
Yeah, like the rolling cloud stuff.
And-
So much of the analog model
Yeah.
stuff. They're modeling real
I see.
circuits.
Yeah, ACB is the closest thing I've ever seen to
Yeah,
analog
exactly.
circuit emulation.
yeah.
But we don't use a lot of ACB these days.
Well, I'd use more, but they stopped making it.
Well, there's still this. Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of
Roland at
you
least
know
stopped making
there's shortcuts taken. There are, you know, some things that are just more efficiently done differently, using a different kind of approach to get the same effect. And software developers are going to do this because it's efficient, and it enables them to actually achieve nearly the same outcome. And it's a classic case of, if you don't know how it's generated, and if the outcome is the same, then what does it matter? And there's just a sliding grey scale of where that transition occurs, where it possibly does matter for one person and doesn't matter for another person, depending on your opinion.
And as Roland said, they won't chase ghosts, so why should they move down that way?
Well,
Chased them briefly, but then they kind of pull back, right?
Korg never said it, but Korg kind of did say it. And then all of a sudden they hired Tats, and then they just went back on the direction that they were originally heading, which was purely like a digital direction. And then they had this massive, huge explosion of analog gear, and it was really good for them.
I need to get back to this VST thing because Ranzee is really upset about it. I'm just thinking, if they didn't, if that Arturia, we'll take that Arturia thing, because that's what you're showing. If they didn't they didn't render it or anything like that, and they just put the GUI up, and underneath that it just had VST SynthX, would that be okay?
Yeah, because it's honest. They're not they're not saying. I mean, you could show a picture of a SynthX, right? A real SynthX, and say this is a real SynthX. We've sat down with this thing, and then we've sat down with our computer programmers and our engineers, and we've programmed lines of code to emulate the real SynthX as close as we could possibly get. Bear in mind, we know it's a computer. I think that.
Look at the name. All those things
great.
say V. There's Mini Moog V, SynthX-V. The V is in the title. It's a VST.
Yeah,
they always put a V in there.
The V is in there.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is that the marketing people decided it was okay. And several people had to make the decision whether it was okay or not, and we may have a different opinion to them.
I don't mind them using 3D renders either, Daren. But what I don't like is that these 3D renders become the main images that they're thrashing at people to try and lure them into buying that particular product. Like we all said before, it's confused us at one point. Not again, like usually you only, what's the old saying? Fool me twice, that saying. But I feel like using the terms analog when it's completely digital lines of code, that shouldn't have. You can have the word analog as long as it has the word virtual or emulation or something along those lines. I feel like that's completely acceptable, but don't just put analog. Don't put multi-timbral analog synth there, unless you're talking about
made the videos
the
may not be
original.
the same guys who worked on the synth, so they didn't think to put that in there. It's in the title.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So I mean, that's the only criticism I got with Arturia. But there's other people who do worse things than Arturia. What Arturia have done. There's people that have claimed, perfect recreations, and it's impossible. You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't. An analog VCF versus a digital rendition of that is not going to ever be exactly the same. Never. There's not enough lines of code to ever. I just don't think you're ever going to get there.
No, I mean my Juno's really cold at the moment, so if I switch it on, I bet it'll sound a bit different later on when it's warmed up.
Yeah, well, I remember like years ago, Nick used to sit on he used to do reviews years ago. You guys will all remember this if you've been watching him for a while, and he used to put oscillators, digital oscillators, especially VAs, at the higher or low end of their, that usually the highest octave it can go to or the lowest octave it can go to, and just watch the thing alias. Literally watch it alias, because the processor can't handle the lines of code that it has to manipulate to try and do what it's supposed to do at that level, because it's usually at the high octave that's the worst, and you'll just hear the thing glitch out or alias.
Limits.
Yeah, I mean,
even the OB12 does that. It's a VA, so it's not going to be a perfect anything.
I've got a patch on my Roland XP10, which you guys all know is it's a digital synth. It's basically a a partial PCM style synth with a V8 engine in it, and there's a patch on it that if you go down to the lowest octave on it, it turns into a completely different patch because the synth engine just can't handle what it was supposed to be doing. But I actually think it's really cool. It sounds like
that could be a cool thing. Yeah,
you go from some weird patch to some really. It sounds like Here's Johnny from Hocus Pocus at one stage. You know, it's like. That's aliasing.
So it's not a bug; it's a feature.
It's a feature bug. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah.
I have to dig that out and show you guys one day. It's really funny. It is hilarious. But I mean, that's a 90s. It's a 90s issue.
I mean, there are companies doing way more egregious stuff than this. Like some companies making things that still exist and putting their own name on it, and they're clones of things, right? Who am I talking about? Shady business.
The sins.
Well, you know what though?
Let's compare sins.
There's people been doing it for a long time, and it's not just Behringer that do it though, Andy. There's
No, I
people.
know, but it's-
There's people like ARP did it. ARP did it with the 2600. They stole the filter
the Moog
design
filter, yeah.
from Moog, and they got in the shit for it.
Yeah, people act like it's it's the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, Stratocaster's been copied forever by Chinese companies. So
and also that the synth manufacturers in the past never did this, and they're all really good friends now. The second part is true. The ones that were alive when they were alive. Rest in peace.
But to steal the look and the feel,
they
and
were good friends.
market it
They
as that
resolved their
copy,
differences. But they were,
and at the same
they
time
were
the company's still in production with the other thing. That's cheesy, right? I bought some of it
that's
anyway.
bad, but it's
'cause I'm an
basically
idiot, but-
it's all your faults anyway. It's everybody's fault. It's all your.
No, I
fault.
bought it.
Because
I
if you
contributed
didn't buy
to
it.
it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't buy it, then they
We
wouldn't
drank
do
the
this.
Kool-Aid.
But yeah,
Well, I mean, this thing here, this is where I'll go in and bat for Arturia. This thing here is a complete no-no, right?
yeah,
When they made that, I'm just thinking to myself, geez, I mean, did you try and make that thing at all any different
exactly.
at all?
It didn't transform it. It's like reusing content on
seem
YouTube.
to
You have to transform it, right?
That's where I'll go in and say, Arturia, you guys have got every right to give them a slap. You know, if there was a payment given to them to shut them up afterwards, I'm not sure, but yeah. But I mean, I'm having a bit of fun with you guys about VSTs. It's not. I don't pillar my life beliefs on this particular thing, right? But to me, it's just I just find it frustrating when I see people claim stuff that just isn't true. It's just not true. Like, stop claiming this is that. Like, I think Roland were doing it at one stage when they first started the ACB. They were claiming stuff. You won't notice the difference. Well, we did, mate. We noticed it. It's
Well, you
still,
have the polyphony.
you know,
You'll notice that.
yeah, we noticed
note
it.
robbing. I don't remember that note robbing.
And we all sat there with our oscilloscopes and our spectrum analyzers, and we literally forensically put those things through the crapper and found out that they weren't telling the truth. So, you know, they were very, very close. And some people are like, hey, good enough for me. So, great, good on them.
yeah. Well, like I say,
Also, if you want to go real far back about stealing, you know, you had Edison stealing from Tesla, so go way back.
Well, yeah.
Is it? That's what competition is.
Yeah. It's the what's his name?
Stuff.
By the way, guys, if you just saw me
Costco,
put that,
Great Artist Steal.
you guys just saw me put that Behringer swing up before. So just so you know, I never bought that. Behringer actually sent it to me, and I've kept
No
it
way.
here because it's just a reminder of some of the the dodgy things that go on in
Pitfalls,
the
yeah.
industry.
I like to see it in a frame one day, Rance, on the wall.
I think it's
This
crazy.
is what can go wrong.
The dartboard. Make a dartboard with it. So.
One of my key steps is actually very
7
sick at
deadly
the
sins.
moment.
Here's number one.
One of my key steps is
Which
sick
one?
at the moment. The white one. I want to replace the USB micro port on it, but I've gone in to look at the way that they've engineered it on the back of the
Mounted it.
circuit board, it's not going to be an easy job to replace it. I can't just desolder it and then put another one on. It's not as easy as that. Without it,
Yeah, I wish you
really,
would case mount some of that stuff. Not have it
well,
all on
it's
the PCB.
you could do it, right? If I had the right heating tools and things like that.
Yeah.
But if I did it here just with my wicks and solder sucker, I would probably wreck the circuit board.
Yeah,
I'd probably pull traces off.
I had a similar situation with a USB mini jack on a USB programmer for one of my Arduino things. Exactly the same situation. It's like, you know, I didn't have the technology to do really fine stuff and heating of SMD. And yeah, I only just managed to get something soldered, and, you know, so many solder bridges later managed to get, and then it only lasted for a couple of months, and then it broke again. This is just trying to repair one of those, you know, when a track lifted or something like that.
And
but they're really, really tight. They're too tiny, those.
Then you could be unlucky and have a 3-layered PCB.
Yes. Yeah, even worse.
Dearie me.
What was that other thing you fixed, Ranzee? Did it ever get done? You were working on some other motherboard or circuit board at one point. One of your controllers, I think.
Oh, with the...
It's a microcore. What were you messing with? There was something.
You got the one with the encode. You got the one with the encoder that doesn't work properly or something.
Oh, the tuner? That was the Moog Slim Fatty. Is that what you mean?
Slim Fatty, that was it.
Yeah, that's fixed. Fixed that.
Yeah.
Yep. I just replaced it.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've probably finished up with the main part of the show, guys. But before everyone disappears, I notice a few people are leaving because we are kind of hitting at that time. Where is it? Where is it? I can ever find this thing. Is it this button? It is. Thank you very much. Don't worry about the music. I haven't updated this, so it's probably a little bit out of date, but it doesn't really matter if I don't update it because these people have been in the past. So big thank you to all of these people for Patreon and these people for channel membership on YouTube. And I guess we'll probably start adding the third part of this list, which will be the Streamlabs donations as well. So big thank you to everyone that's part of that. I do want to remind people too that don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you want, because it is it's a free stream. We turn off monetization, and it does help with the algorithms if people do like it. And don't forget too that Andy and Daren and Chris are on here too. So you're basically voting for your love for those guys that are on here. And
oh god, then you might get some downvotes.
Yeah, take some money away for that one.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Those things do actually help. It seems like such old cliche, but it does still really help the algorithm. So do hit the like button. And just as I'm saying it, I'm noticing the like count go up. There we go. It's just about doubled.
Just likes all the VST comments. So.
Yeah.
I'd like my VST.
Like my VST comments. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So how did we go with Twitch? So Twitch is still streaming, I guess?
I think so. Let me go check.
Yeah, it says it is.
Oh, the tab got stuck. There are too many windows open.
Yeah, Kosh Dukai saying, yup. All good here, says Man with Beard. There you go. So Twitch held up for the 3 hours that we've been streaming for, so that's really good. I'm happy with that. And what I was thinking was going to go wrong with that is that I was streaming with Streamlabs, the desktop app, on a Mac, on an M1 Mac. On the same Mac, I was showing you guys all the YouTube videos and all of the Reverb and eBay websites on the same Mac was streaming live to Twitch at the same time, and that was handling that nicely, and it was taking the feed in from my Windows PC from vMix via an NDI stream to stream out. So if you're wondering how YouTube is being streamed, that's through an ATEM Mini Pro, so it's literally like a piece of hardware. So that's how that's getting done. So YouTube, the duties of streaming out all on the same network, but it's all different boxes doing different things, and that way you take the mother load off of things.
I'm curious if your Streamlabs does Twitch closing properly, because StreamYard doesn't. It basically doesn't let you save your Twitch. It just goes away, which is weird.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I guess.
And also, you only get an hour usually. Did you get more than an hour on your Twitch?
Well,
still going?
They've just said it's still going. It's 3 hours in.
It's still going. Yeah. So you started right at the beginning of Twitch. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a different setting than when you use it that way. Because on StreamYard, you only get an hour. And also mobile, you only get an hour on Twitch.
But I think that's StreamYard's, not Twitch end. Okay? So one of the things with StreamYard is that they stream from their central server out, and they would have limited streaming bandwidth that they would want to have people.
Or maybe I have to pay more. I'm in the lower. I'm not at the highest
could be
tier.
That.
Maybe
could
that's
be
part
that.
of the problem. Yeah.
All right, we probably should wrap it up because people have got places
if
to
everyone's
go.
Down in Derby, by the way, anyone going down to Derby, I'll be slamming out the Blackout set. So some part of that, I'll be playing that out live. So if you're around Derby, bang into there.
What day is that, Darren?
As well, so.
What day is that?
That'll be Thursday. 17th Thursday. Starts at 7. Goes on till about 11. It's streamed live, so.
Is there any specific place that they need to be at?
Derbeck Studios or Derbeck Studios down in Derby. Like I say, it's if you go to Derbeck Studios.
Derbeck, right?
Derbeck, yeah. And it's streamed live, so obviously you can't get there, you can watch it streamed live.
Yeah, all the best with that, mate.
Quite a few acts.
Yeah, good luck, mate.
Yeah, we'll see how the Blackout set goes, or part of it. I can't play it all. It's 2 hours long.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments afterwards, I guess, if you're watching this on replay, what you thought of the show. It's always nice to get comments, and I talk to people during the week. Don't forget to go check out all of these people's channels. Chris, don't forget you've got your segment that you can always chuck in. I can make you a nice stinger for it if you like. Give me something to do during the week.
Inside track.
There we go.
I had the idea of a racing track, and it's too animated, too complicated.
Okay, we'll talk about it. All right, people. All the best. Thank you, everyone. We'll catch you all next week. Hit this button.
See you, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.